hartaa lagu soo gaday hooyada laga qaado
كنت أشيل عليك سكت كنت أشيل
laan la saxad كنت أشيل موسى ده أنا عربي بين كل شيء بس هو يفهم تعال ولا عكت إذا أنا كرمه إيه والله ولا عكت إذا لا يقعد يحوق يقول العكت
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. Ready to explore right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.
Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. Set my heart on fire. We'll be right back. Jack it up. hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. you want to get off the darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and say this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down. Fill me out with your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out where I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm saving the sun. 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 I'm saving the sun.
going to be tough. We'll hear from the managers and plenty more in a few minutes. But Courtney, let's get our teeth into the team news. West Brom, first of all, just the one change under Slaven Bilic to the side. The loss, rather controversially and unluckily, 1-0 to Manchester United last time out. That change is a return for Callum Robinson up against his former club, with Grady Diangana dropping down to the bench. So it's Sam Johnson, who of course saved a penalty that was retaken against Manchester United, in goal. It's Semi Ajayi alongside Carl Bartley, the skipper, and Branislav Ivanovic at the back. Darnell Furlong and Connor Townsend effectively the wing backs, with Conor Gallagher and Romain Sawyers in midfield. Matthias Pereira and Robinson supporting Carlin Grant up front. The rest of the bench, in addition to Diangana, is sub-keeper David Button, Hal Robson-Kanu, Matty Phillips, Raheem Harper, Filip Karinovic and Dara O'Shea. Your thoughts, please, on that?
Not surprised in terms of Callum Robinson. He's their top goal scorer, albeit with 2 goals.
Yes.
But yeah, obviously this is what they need. They need to score goals. They need goal scorers in the team. And I've enjoyed watching Ivanovic as well, actually rolling back the years at times as well. And I think he's been solid at the back. So yeah, not much of a surprise really. And with the team and the change is neither here nor there. I think, as a player, you think when we're losing games and you're that player on the bench, you're itching to get on, you want to make a difference. So I think sometimes it has to force the manager's hand to make changes when teams are losing week in, week out.
OK, Sheffield United then, 2 changes to the team that lost 1-0 against West Ham. Of course, that Sebastian Haller wonder strike that undid the Blades. The 2 changes are Oliver Burke, the Scotland midfielder, in against his former club, because of course Robinson and Burke swapped, didn't they? They now return both to face their former teams. Keane Bryan, a youngster as well, is in as well for his first league start at the back for Sheffield United as well. It's David McGoldrick who drops down to the bench. Ethan Ampadu is not included in the matchday squad at all. Entirely why, we're not sure. We'll try and find out for you. So it's Aaron Ramsdale in goal, a back 3 of captain John Egan, Chris Basham and the aforementioned youngster Keane Bryan. It's Max Lowe and George Baldock, the wing backs, Oliver Norwood with John Fleck and Sander Berg in midfield, and then Ollie Burke supporting another Ollie, 3 of them in the team, Ollie McBurney up front. And in addition to McGoldrick, it's Michael Verrips, the Dutchman, who's the sub-keeper. Rest of the subs are John Lundstrom, Lies Musset after a foot injury that's rolled him out of the season so far, the veteran Phil Jagielka, Ben Osborne and Rhian Brewster, the man who cost all that money from Liverpool but still continues to struggle scoring goals. Your take, please, on how Chris Wilder's team are lining up?
I think the big story, obviously, despite him being on the bench, is Musset being back. 6 goals last season. He is fantastic, and as I said, named as a game changer by Wilder, so very much expecting him to play a part in the game at some point. Obviously, fitness depending. As you say, he's not played since last season, so getting that match fitness back is always difficult. But again, you look at the team, a lot of the team that were there last season, so you're wondering why something's not quite clicked. And I feel like Sheffield are just looking for that game where they get a few goals, where they get the win, and I feel like that could set them on a good run. I think we know that they're capable of putting a good run of games together, but looking at the fixtures they've got coming up before Christmas, it's definitely a bit of an uphill battle. Leicester, Man United, Everton. So yeah, that's not a great run to come up against when you're trying to gain a bit of confidence.
Thank you very much indeed, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. Plenty more from her over the course of our build-up, and of course throughout our commentary we'll touch on an action-packed and again pretty controversial day so far in the Premier League once again as well. All of that plus our 8 p.m. kickoff UK time, West Brom Sheffield United, still to come on Premier League Live.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track? And who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football. Plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
Introducing Guardson Sport. Protect your sporting equipment from COVID-19 for up to 14 days with Guardson Sport disinfectant treatment. Ideal in team sport settings with the sharing of balls, rackets, gloves, helmets and all other sporting equipment. Guardson Sport kills COVID-19 on impact, keeping surfaces free from COVID-19 and other viruses and bacteria for up to 14 days by creating a protective polymer layer on application. For more information on Guardson Sport and other quality assured, certified and approved PPE, visit your yourcovidprotection.com.
Create the Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, decision with LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely in our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
Let's talk about you looking after your business. Ford, looking after your vehicle. Let's talk hassle-free Ford leasing. Just a fixed monthly payment, no motor tax to deal with, and no maintenance or servicing to pay on selected plans. Get the Ford Transit Custom from €290 per month. Hassle-free Ford lease. Now we're talking. Search Ford Lease or text Ford to 50015 to speak to us about leasing your next vehicle.
Text cost a standard rate. Price quoted for Transit Custom Base with no maintenance. Over 4 years with 3 monthly rentals in advance. 20,000 kilometres per annum. Business users only. Price excludes VAT. Ford Lease is provided by Marion Fleet Management, trading as Ford Lease.
123ink.ie for all your home office needs, including printers, ink, toners, paper, label markers, binders, pens, bins, batteries, boxes, chalk, compass, files, memory sticks, highlighters, glue, notepads,
Whoa! And we're cheaper than your current supplier. 123ink.ie for home, for office, for less.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk. Walk the dog. Go cycling. Cycle the dog. Recycle the dog. Just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of West Bromwich Albion against Sheffield United from the Hawthorns. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves. Alongside me, the Sheffield United Women's Super League striker, once of Everton and Liverpool, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. And this is Premier League Live. Got to say, it's pretty foggy in the Black Country. You can just about make the players out in front of us as they prepare and go through their final pre-match doctrines. But it is a murky old night, I can tell you, in the edge of the second city. Could be an interesting factor when we get toward kick-off. 3 games in the Premier League today already. The most recent was Leeds United into Goodison Park, downing Everton. Here's how it sounded.
Forward here on Leeds United, and they have scored. Leeds United, who have huffed and puffed all game long, have finally blown the Everton defence down. Plenty of space, plenty of time to pick his spot, and this time, finally, a Leeds United player can. What a strike, what a finish.
Well, it's that link-up play down the flanks of this Everton wing-backs. They've been concerning all night, haven't they? That is a great strike. What a fantastic strike. He's looked to link again, decided not to, put it right in the bottom corner. Fully deserved by Leeds United.
So after Everton's excellent start of the season, they slipped down to 6th and Leeds up to 11th, and only Courtney a couple of points behind the Toffees in the table. They've really closed up in recent times, those two, haven't they?
Yeah, and Leeds, I've been really impressed with them. Absolutely fantastic, the way that they move the ball, their work ethic when they're not on the ball to win it back, and I think they've won a lot of fans, Leeds and Bielsa. So yeah, Everton had a really good start as well, but unfortunately for them have sort of fell off in the last few games. And again, I think that the more we see this season how crazy it is, and the longer we get into season, especially over the Christmas break, it's going to throw up so many different variables that it's been such an exciting season.
Absolutely. So that was the most recent game. We had 2 more earlier as well, a draw between Brighton and Liverpool that was mired in controversy, and Man City thumping their northwest rivals Burnley. Let's remind you of the key moments of both of those.
Nice touch, chance here, good run, brilliant goal, and it's that man again, It's Diogo Jota. It's Pascal Gross in the 93rd minute, and he scores straight down the middle. And Brighton, who missed a penalty in the first half, have scored one in stoppage time, and it looks like denying Liverpool a victory.
We had on top of that, by the way, 2 penalties against us, which doesn't help, obviously, if you want to win a game. The first one was a penalty, a bit clumsy of Nico, but it was a penalty. And the second one, if the ref thinks it's enough contact, and that's a penalty as well. Let me say, like, a good reference is always when the players of the other team think, I'm not sure it was a penalty. So, and that was the case, and so, but we cannot change that.
Foden enters a penalty area, first time ball to the back post, thumping header, and there is goal number 5 for Manchester City, and it's a hat-trick for Riyad Mahrez.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Good game, and 3 goals from Riyad, and had great chances. We conceded the second half a little bit more, but not much. So, yeah, it was important to come back after the defeat against Tottenham, to come back in the rhythm and the results, and we won.
So Manchester City at least up to 8th in the standings. Burnley's issues continue, again not scoring, and again having a fair few stuck past them as well. We'll start there, Courtney, on that one. Kind of normal service routine for Man City, but I guess their head-to-head record against the Clarets is so strong. I don't know how much necessarily we have learnt or not from that.
Yeah, it's one of them. I think, sometimes when you are on a bit of a tough run, you do look back at, when you've played certain teams and past results, so maybe that, got into the psyche of them, that confidence that they needed. So yeah, that 5-0 was massive for them. And also, you look at the game that we're covering, and Burnley are 17th, and Sheffield United and West Brom will be glad that they've took a bit of a battering, to be honest.
And then before that, Liverpool getting their draw in the end at Brighton, but my goodness me, Salah with that goal that was disallowed, of course, the same for Mane, the controversy with both of the penalties that did happen as well. What did you make of all of that?
Yeah, I watched it live, and it was one of those games you sort of always on the edge of your seat, always something's happening, and particularly the interview with Klopp at the end, he definitely wasn't a very happy man whatsoever. So, but again, like we say, they're the variables now that this type of season is throwing up for all different teams. But fair credit to Brighton, they held in there, and I think they really deserved the point.
Of course, one of the major stories of the week has been the passing of the legendary Diego Maradona, just somebody who really did encapsulate so much about football with his brilliance, the fallibility as well of the flawed genius, you name it. I'll get your thoughts in a second if we can, Courtney, but first of all, Pep Guardiola, the Manchester City boss, had this to say.
It was a banner in Argentina, I think. He said, no matter what you have done with your life, Diego, it matters what you have done for our lives. I think expressed perfectly what this guy gave us, the amount of joy and the pleasure and the commitment for the world football. He made the world football better.
That's Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola. Chelsea's Frank Lampard also paying tribute to the Argentinian maestro.
Diego Maradona was my idol growing up. He was a person that, I was always born into a football family, but he was the player on the world stage that made me fall in love with the game. I remember vividly moments of World Cups in my early years. I wasn't even that put out by the hand of God. I was as an England fan, but his individual brilliance overcame that as I grew up. Was fortunate enough to meet him very briefly. He's a footballing god, and it's very sad that he's not with us.
Yeah, a footballing god, as Frank Lampard described him there. Courtney, just an immense player in his day.
Yeah, unbelievable. And I think the biggest thing that comes across for me is he transcends sort of generations. I'm only 30 myself, so I didn't really get a chance to see him play, but was always told about how good he was. And so many players go out, research, watch YouTube's clip, and I was the same. So you get a flavour for how good he really was. And I think all the things that people are saying about him, fantastic stories, and it's such lovely to hear. And hopefully, his family will hear that and be, brightened up by that. Obviously, such a sad day for them in football, but just leaves an unbelievable legacy on the world of football.
And you just touched on that fallibility with him as well. We know what difficult issues he had as he battled drugs and alcohol and so on. And I guess 1986 encapsulates so much, doesn't it? The wonder goal on the back of the controversy of the hand of God. There is so much wrapped up in this man.
Yeah, and as you say, maybe there's that's them two sides to him. But again, everyone always speaks about him and what a lovely man he was, and how he used to take time out for people. And obviously, it's unfortunate that he had that addiction and had to battle with that throughout his life. But he still brought so much joy to people, and I think that is the biggest thing, the joy that he brought to the football world and to individuals.
And Courtney, doing it from such humble beginnings as well, from such an incredibly difficult upbringing, such a hard part of Argentina, where his footballing brilliance basically led him from the toughest of lives to the most glorious of lives as well. I think that was a real inspiration, not just in Argentina where he was adored, but for everybody probably around the world.
Yeah, definitely, and I think he's a very proud Argentinian man, and he was so proud to be able to do that for his country, and wanted to bring as much to his country and good things rather than the negatives maybe at the time, in terms of the low socio-economic status, and it's quite a poor country. So to be able to shed some good light on Argentina, I think was probably one of his proudest achievements.
Gone but clearly not forgotten, and Diego Maradona will be honoured before kick-off here at the Hawthorns in about 5 minutes' time, with a minute's applause as well. Quite right too. Right, let's focus back then on our commentary game here on Premier League Live, which kicks off in just over 10 minutes. The players have finished their warm-up and headed back into the tunnel just beneath us for one more final little bit of preparation from their managers. They are Sheffield United's Chris Wilder. We'll hear from him on the back of the baggies, Slaven Bilic, who says a first win is perhaps closer than people think.
It is a vital game for both teams. Of course, it is for us, and from our perspective, we need that win. It would be great to get that win finally. If anyone is expecting that here atmosphere is dark or miserable a little bit and negative, it's everything but that. We are positive. Why? Because we are giving our best. We know that we have to maintain or even improve in trainings. The guys are training on a top level. They are working real hard, and in every game we are there. It's not, and we feel that it's not that we are miles from the result. But on the other hand, that means nothing. We have to do it. We have to make those performances, to turn them not only to be a good performance and close to something, close to result. We have to turn them into the result, and it is about time to do that.
Should we accept 17th position as a newly promoted team? I think obviously, there's a lot of talk last year from myself about we're not setting targets. I think with the start that we've had, and obviously the things that have gone against us that we can control, and the other things that have gone against us that we can't control, I'm being realistic. We're in a dogfight. We should be in a dogfight every year, really, from where the clubs come from and how we're trying to establish ourselves. So at this particular moment, I believe 10 clubs will take 17th position in an heartbeat and move on to the next season, and we're one of them.
Chris Wilder there with a bit of perspective, Courtney, on where the Blades stand. I just don't know whether there might be almost a 4-team battle, whether there are as many as 10. I'm not entirely sure. What do you think?
Yeah, possibly not 10. Looking at the table now, there's definitely a long way to go. As you say, I think they're definitely 3, 4, 5 teams in that running. But interesting to see what Slaven Bilic said about how close they are, and I think the Blades and West Brom are quite similar in the results: 1-0s, 1-1s, 0-0s, and they've not. Both teams haven't been convincingly really overtaken, for example, like Burnley were by Man City today. So that will give them hope in one way. It will be frustration because they know that they're close, and a goal here or it's such fine margins in the Premier League. So
tell me a little bit about that and the transferability to the men's side, and whether or not I would say the issues that they're having, but as a broader club, the collective of the men and the women, how has it been affecting you?
I think we try and go in with a one club mentality. So obviously when we're seeing the guys lose, we want them to win, obviously. So that's not great. But I think the good thing about Sheffield is they try to live within their means, Sheffield United, and that's very important. And I think it's same with the women's team. Let's be right, we've not got the money to go out like a Man City, a Chelsea, Arsenal's, and all of the aboves and spend massive amount of money. So they try and do things in the right way, and for me a real family club. So yeah, it's hard for us to see them not getting the points on the board, but we're confident in them and hoping that they can get a run of games and pick up points and be a Premier League team next season.
And the same from the women, funnily enough, as Sheffield United look to cling on to their top flight status, hopefully. You guys were so close to getting it last season, and of course you're trying again. And for any of our listeners around the world, this is an international break for the women, which is why we're lucky enough to have you with us. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely so. I think we went so close. I wasn't there, but again, watching from afar and already knew quite a few of the girls. So, yeah, watching though went so close, and we'll do the same again this season. Hopefully we'll take it that one step further and actually gain promotion.
Okay, let's go back then to our men's main focus. What are one or two of the key battlegrounds player-wise for you? Where might this game be won and lost when you look at the confirmed lineups?
Well, I think, you look at West Brom and how defensive they are in those lineups. So I think with that 5 at the back, you've got to look at the wing backs on both teams, because if they want to go forward for West Brom, they will try and get Townsend and Furlong forward. It'll be the same for Baldock and Lowe. So I think it's a bit of a battle of the wing backs, to be honest. And again, it's when they can win possession back in the middle of the park or wide. How fast can they get it up to McBurney and Burke, and the same for West Brom? How quick can they get it to Grant or Robson and actually slot it in the back of the net? 'Cause I think that's been the problem with both teams, really. It's obviously been scoring goals and being clinical.
At TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in. We'll read the best of them out from around the world during the game. We love to hear from you. Lots of people tweeting in about Courtney being with us for the first time as well, including Gary Walker, who says, great to have Courtney as a brilliant addition for the weekend. That's from Oregon in the USA. And Chris Chodello has tweeted in saying, I kind of feel this will be a boring game. Not from the commentary team, of course, but the match itself could be quite dull. Chris, we will wait and see. Yeah, there's not many goals. There's not many points between these two, but hopefully they'll really go for it for a much needed win. And a great picture from Lee Hart as well, driving through a countryside in the States, saying a Leeds win, fingernailless again. Lee, a very happy man. At TalkSport Live, keep them coming in. Our featured commentary is next on Premier League Live.
Demanding a high performance from your team? You should be demanding the same from your tires. The Irish Tyre Industry Association is urging motorists to stay safe this winter and check the condition of your tyres. You could even be liable for a fine and 2 penalty points if found driving with tyres below the legal tread depth limit of 1.6 millimeters. ITIA expert technicians will carry out a free tyre safety check to ensure your tyres are safe and legal. Visit itia.ie to find your local expert.
As Ireland's homegrown insurer, FPD knows it's empowering when someone has your back. So switch your van insurance to us and get up to 75% no-claim discount. Visit fpd.ie to request a quote. FPD Insurance. Support. It's what we do. Terms, conditions and underwriting criteria apply. 75% no-claims discount is based on proof of 5 years no-claims discount and available to new commercial motor customers only. FPD Insurance Group Limited, trading as FPD Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Commercial motor insurance is underwritten by FPD Insurance PLC.
Upgrade your home viewing experience at Curry's PC World. See every tackle, shot and goal in crystal clear definition with our huge range of the latest to market large screen TVs with massive savings. Like save up to €130 on Samsung 4K TVs from only $459 and get your TV for half price. 1 in 20 win half their money back. Buy any LG OLED TV to enter with prices from just $1,249. Shop the full range online at currys.ie.
Get ready and hold on tight because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track and who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football, plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
Introducing Guardson Sport. Protect your sporting equipment from COVID-19 for up to 14 days with Guardson Sport disinfectant treatment. Ideal in team sport settings with the sharing of balls, rackets, gloves, helmets, and all other sporting equipment. Guardson Sport kills COVID-19 on impact, keeping surfaces free from COVID-19 and other viruses and bacteria for up to 14 days by creating a protective polymer layer on application. For more information on Guardson Sport and other quality assured, certified and approved PPE, visit yourcovidprotection.com.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk. Walk the dog. Go cycling. Cycle the dog. Recycle the dog.
dog, just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
Listening to TalkSport's coverage of West Brom against Sheffield United from the Hawthorns. I'm your host Russell Hargreaves, alongside the Sheffield United Women's Super League striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. This is Premier League Live, as you join us in the middle of a minute's applause for the legendary Diego Maradona. 1960 to 2020, in a picture of the Argentinian star up on the big screen here at the Hawthorns. All the players standing in a circle around the centre circle, applauding, just considering the career of that quite brilliant man whose death shocked the football world, of course, a few days ago, who started that 1986 World Cup at England's expense, of course managed Argentina, started so brilliantly for Barcelona and particularly for Napoli, where he won the Serie A title as well. Diego Maradona, gone and not forgotten. Okay, well, we now focus back on the match itself, and just a reminder, the bottom two teams in the Premier League preparing to lock horns. 9 wins so far this campaign, the only two teams to be in that situation. 1 point so far for Sheffield United, 3 points so far for West Brom. Can either get a precious win. We will wait and see. Courtney, pre-match, what's going through your head as a player just at this moment before that whistle?
Personally, for me, not much. I think it's just focusing on your roles and responsibilities. I think it's trying to win that first battle to make your mark on the game. So whether it's first crunching tackle, or maybe as a forward you just want to get your touch right when that first ball comes into you. Just confidence more than anything. But you know, no doubt about it, the positions that these two clubs are in the table will be weighing heavy on their minds.
We're about to have our traditional pre-match homage to the Black Lives Matter movement in just a second as we prepare to get underway. Both sets of players taking a knee, all doing that to a man. As we prepare for kick-off in just a couple of seconds, Michael Dean, by the way, is our referee this evening here at the Hawthorns, who sent Slaven Bilic off to half-time when they lost to Everton early on in the campaign for his remonstrations. It's the first time that Dean has returned to manage or to referee the Baggy since. We'll see how that one goes. West Brom kicking from left to right in the first half from our vantage point here on Premier League Live, and playing in their traditional blue and white vertical striped tops with white shorts and red socks, and already Sheffield United ghosting in and looking for the opening goal. It was Oliver Berg against his former team. The Baggies stood off him, and the Scot nearly snuck in for Sheffield United.
Yeah, definitely really good. He anticipated the flick on really well from McBurney and just muscled out of it in the end. But you know, early in the game, so he's, again, like I just said, you want to make your presence known. He slips as he goes to kick it, but positive start from the Blades.
West Brom work the ball downfield just to get a little bit of territory under their belts and play it straight to the Sheffield United goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. Sheffield United, by the way, playing in their change kit. They normally play in red and white stripes, which would have clashed pretty badly with the Baggies, so they're in a rather fetching salmon pink top with grey shorts and pink and grey socks, and already put a player in the book. McBurney down, hacked down, I think, by Branislav Ivanovic.
Yeah, as I said, normally defenders want to make themselves known with the first tackle. Maybe not, you know, like that to get yourself a yellow card. It's not a great tackle, but good position for Sheffield United.
Well, he's lunged in, the veteran Serb, from about 30 yards out, and he had one go at his man, didn't hack him down, had a second go, and crikey, got him that time, the former Chelsea man. Ivanovic, as we know, took very few prisoners at his peak, and maybe as the pace has gone, he takes even less now. So, as Courtney says, it's a free kick to Sheffield United. Quite a juicy position, 5 or 6 yards out from the left-hand edge of the D. Sam Johnson, the West Bromwich Albion goalkeeper, who played so well against his old club Man United last weekend and was so unlucky to be on the losing side. He's just marshalling his wall. It's a 5-man wall. 3 Sheffield United players stand over the ball. Fleckett is left-footed, who clips it in, and it's a disappointing delivery, looking for skipper John Egan. It's over his head and out for a goal kick, and that's deeply disappointing after such a lengthy build-up.
Yeah, it's a shame, as you say, there's the build-up, and Berg picked up the ball and bounced it 3 times, so I imagine that's something that they've worked on in the training ground. But again, you know, teams in this position, they can't be wasting chances like that. They've got to make something of it.
Well, Egan did hopefully to claim that maybe there'd been a tiny pull of a shirt, but I think it was more in hope than expectation. Chris Wilder, we look at him on the big screen shouting out some instructions already. He looks pretty gal.
Probably did the right thing in trying to just pass it into the back of the net and not blast it over, but blocked by a West Brom player. But started really brightly here, Belize.
It was a neat bit of interplay in the end, wasn't it? And Johnson was kind of wrong-footed, as you say. West Bromwich Albion at the back doing very, very well to just about get that one clear. But certainly plenty of early hope for Sheffield United so far. They've been very much the dominant team.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's what you've got to do when confidence is low. Impose yourself on the game as a team, and high tempo game, and it is not always easy. It's definitely not easy for 90 minutes.
Now Furlong just playing the ball back, but it's misplaced, booted downfield. In the end, Sheffield United captain John Egan takes matters into his own hands, and the Irishman smashes the ball out of play for a West Bromwich Albion throw, which again Furlong considers taking. Plays a little 1-2 with Matheus Pereira, the Brazilian. Again, you can probably hear it on our microphones. The ball takes an almighty ricochet, goes fizzing out for another throw to West Brom on this near stand side. 6 minutes played. It's West Bromwich Albion 0, Sheffield United 0. A bit of pressure potentially building on both of the managers, maybe more so Slaven Bilic at the moment. What's your thoughts on where we stand with him?
I agree. I think there's probably more pressure on him. Chris has kept the team up last season and is well thought of at Sheffield United. Obviously, if it stays like this, maybe they might have to make a decision. But he's a very well thought of man within the club. And Bilic, although again a fantastic manager through the years, I think if it stays like this and until Christmas, I think that's always sort of the cut-off point for most clubs.
Here comes Callum Robinson, fortuitous ricochet, number 7 for the Baggies against his old team. Remember, bursting down the right-hand side, put across over the edge of the 6-yard box, but it was well read by the Blades' Chris Basham, who worked it clear, the former Brentford man. The clearance completed in the end by George Buildup, the man who went close a few moments ago with that shot. It was blocked by the Baggies' defence. Just plays the ball off West Brom, out for a Sheffield United throw on the far side, and that mist is clearing a bit, but it's still pretty foggy out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not the best actually. It was quite funny a week or so ago. We had a similar phenomenon in Sheffield and literally couldn't see each other 10 yards away through the training ground, so hopefully it doesn't get that bad.
We've played 8 minutes and Sheffield United have had 4 attempts in this game already. See if they can keep that up for the rest of the match. That's a tall order. The Baggies none so far. Nice interception this time from Semi Ajayi, the English-born Nigerian defender. He sets Robinson free down this near side. Right-footed early delivery from Callum Robinson. It was a good one. Pereira was bursting in. Was he tugged by Basham? He didn't, to be fair, the Brazilian really appeal. And play goes on. This time it's Conor Gallagher, midfielder on loan from Chelsea, wearing 18 for West Brom. Never an option moving forward, so goes back to his captain, to Kyle Bartley, the skipper. Back out to this near side to Furlong once more. West Brom, first time they've really shown a degree of composure and put together a meaningful move and kept their foot on the ball for a lengthy degree of time, but in the end, even that move breaks down for the home team. Fair play to Ajayi, who shows good strength to shepherd the ball out at least for a throw. Not much coming of it, but a bit better from the Baggies.
Yeah, again, they just want to gain that foothold in the game and just get the ball down. Even if it's a few 5-yard passes, it will just give them a bit of confidence.
Nice play on this near stand side. Just a bit more promising there. Pereira it was, up against the new man, Keane Bryan, who is actually 24, but is very inexperienced when it comes to actually playing football. He was a Manchester City youth product, didn't really get a look in there, loaned out to a few different clubs, came to West Brom, went straight to Bolton on loan last season, Keane Bryan has worked his way into the team tonight. As we mentioned, the likes of Ampadu missing, Enda Stevens, of course, Jack O'Connell as well. Will he do his job in the back three? We'll wait and see. Anyway, off the aforementioned Pereira, concedes a corner. It's fisted dangerously by West Brom and been clear by Sheffield United from the near edge of their 6-yard box. The balding veteran head of Ivanovic was up there. It's in the game, of course, already, and the niggles continue. Sheffield United get their first player in the book, and it's Oliver Norwood, the former Brighton and Fulham man, who brings his man down. Also goes into the book. That's one each. Conor Gallagher was the man who he clattered into.
Yeah, I think it's just a follow through there. He is trying to go for the ball, but when you follow through with your studs like that, you're always opening yourself up to a card. But Mike Dean has maybe set a stall out for himself now. 2 yellow cards quite early on, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
And Talk Sport Live, keep your tweets coming in. First time I've heard a female co-commentator. Finally, says Ozioma from Lagos. So good to hear from you, my friend, and well done. First of many commentaries, I'm sure, for Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. That's from AD Events. And Talk Sport Live. West Brom then with a free kick, which Pereira, left-footed, bends in. It's a lovely delivery and a great chance for the Baggies. And it's not taken. It was the captain. It was Bartley who came coming up from the back. Ghosted in at the right-hand side. May well have been offside. Had he been on target, it would have gone to VAR. But Bartley, regardless, guides it wide of goal.
Yeah, it's a really nice ball, as you say. He looks like he's to be offside anyway. I think it takes a couple of flicks off of two Sheffield United players as well. So
probably would have stood.
Yeah, it might have stood, but yeah, just sort of hits him. I don't think he knows too much about it because of the deflections, but positive for West Brom to get something on target in the first 10 minutes.
So well done there probably to John Egan, who got the most important of those deflections to just flick it off his hair and maybe just do enough to put the advancing Bartley off. Saw it late anyway, but that slight deflection of the trajectory from Pereira's delivery probably made all the difference. This free kick from Pereira. It's a lively start to the game. Sheffield United back on the attack through Fleck, who's seen a fair bit of the ball. A bit of a breakdown in communication between he and the new man Bryant. West Brom get the throw. Midway inside their own half. It's worked to the other side now, to the left-hand side, where Connor Townsend, the left wing-back, tries to work it forward. He's worked his way up through the lower leagues. The club for 3 or 4 seasons, getting his opportunity in the top tier. West Brom have their chance for the opening goal. It was Garland Grant who surging down the right-hand side. Blades defenders leaving it for each other. In the end, Grant couldn't get his shot away. It was blocked and kind of fluffed his lines. That was a great chance.
Yeah, fantastic ball. Keane Bryan just gets caught under that really. He's not done well enough now, but the touch as well, you know, from the striker, you've got to try and get that out your feet and across the defender, and he's not done that. Bit of a dodgy touch, and then he's always fighting a battle, but Ramsdale comes out well just to smother and make sure that nothing comes of it.
It is a corner, but no more. Which again, Pereira takes another low fizzing delivery. Shot from distance is on target, and it's into the corner from Conor Gallagher through a sea of bodies, sweetly struck by the Chelsea loading, and it flies below Ramsdale's left-hand glove and into the corner of the net. And as the mist descend on the Hawthorns, the Baggies take the lead. West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0.
Yeah, and that's a real blow for the Blades. The initial corner's cleared, but again, not cleared very well. And yeah, again, it's not an absolutely fantastic strike. I don't think he hits it overly clean, but the problem is there, it's coming through so many bodies for Ramsdale, and he's struggling to see it, sees it at the last minute, tries his best to stretch to get to it, but it's placed well in the corner, so he can't get to it.
Just wondering if it takes the absolute tiniest deflection off Keane Bryan's outstretched left foot. I don't think it would have made a lot of difference. I'm just not sure if there's an absolutely tiny sliver of a deflection, regardless it's Gallagher's goal, because it was on target before. But yeah, that sea of bodies was crucial there to unsight Ramsdale for me.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. Like I say, it wasn't hit fantastically. I think it did take a slight deflection, and coming through bodies, it's a nightmare for keepers.
Sander Berge, not particularly convincing with his clearance with the head. The big Norwegian, who's normally such a good figure in pretty much the whole park, isn't he? He's very good moving forward, he's strong in midfield and can be useful at the back, but Berge, I think, could have done an awful lot more getting that more clear than he did.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a bit of an awkward height. He goes with it with his right foot. If we're being hypercritical there, he probably needs to come across his body with his left foot there and get it cleared, but he's trying to open his body up and get it out with his right foot, and he's not got the right connection on it.
Worries continue for Courtney's team, Sheffield United. Of course, she's a star for the Women's Super League team. And the men's side here, they've only picked up 1 point from 9 games in the Premier League. I know it's still early in this match, but they're in serious danger of being 1 point from a possible 30. And no team has ever survived in the Premier League with a start like that. 3 points from 10 games is the best anybody has mustered to stay up, which is what the Baggies have before this game, as they hope to climb on to 6. That is a worrying stat, isn't it? That since, 1992... nobody has stayed up with 2 or less points from 10 games.
No, and I spoke about those fine margins earlier, and I think it shows in this first 15 minutes. As I say, Gallagher's probably not hit that particularly well, but it's ended up in the back of the net, whereas the earlier chance where, he's hit it really well on the edge of the box, but it's then been blocked by a West Brom defender. Unfortunately, these are the fine margins, and I think last season Blades were, I wouldn't say lucky, they created their own luck, but it fell their way.
The momentum grows then, doesn't it, when you're onto a winning streak almost?
Yeah, and unfortunately now they're on the opposite end of the spectrum, where they're on a bad run and nothing really goes your way.
The needless foul, I think we can safely say, from Pereira there, who shoves one of the Blades midfielders in the back, and West Brom concede a free kick just inside their own half. Sheffield United don't show a huge amount of conviction with the free kick. They try and take it quickly to the right hand side. Opportunity is snuffed out, time and space denied. The Wilders men are forced to go all the way back to their 3 centre halves and to their Irish skipper, John Egan. Ryan, nice little 1-2 as Keane Bryan keeps the ball in play, puts in a decent delivery and a wonderful save from Sam Johnson. It was Ollie Burke, the Scot, against his old team with a glancing header. Johnson, first to react, gloves it over the bar for a corner.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful save, and Brian's trying to atone for a couple of his mistakes earlier that led to the corner. Great cross in, left footed. It's really whipped in. It's got so much pace on it, but it's forced a great save there from Johnston.
Yard either side of Johnson. I think that's in the back of the net. As it was, he was able to just arch his body back, stick out that big glove, poke it behind for a corner, and it's the murkiest part of the ground with this fog on the far left-hand side. We look through the haze as the ball is swung in. Hard enough for the commentators to work out what's going on, and can't necessarily even be easy for the players there. It was Bartley who made the interception at the expense of another corner.
Yeah, I think in those situations when you're defending a corner, you've just got to make sure, that if you think you can go and win the ball, then go and win the ball and maybe clear everyone out with it. And I'll say they might not be able to see much.
They're in swinging delivery. Johnson under significant pressure, punched pretty well, got it well beyond the edge of his own penalty area. Now West Brom trying to counter-attack through Alan Robinson, who spent a season at Sheffield United a couple of years ago. Goal in 17 league appearances, not the happiest at times. Certainly it's been pretty good since coming to West Brom, including of course a couple of goals against Chelsea and 3 in all competitions to make them joint top scorer. Player down and in some pain is Carlin Grant, the man who had a chance to score earlier in the match, didn't take that opportunity. Grant, I think, has collided inadvertently with Sander Berge. Berge, as we touched on, is quite a physical specimen, and Grant has taken an inadvertent clattering there. He seems to be in some pain, Courtney.
Yeah, sort of. It didn't look much in it, and Berge, he stands straight back up. I would say he's a big guy, a big unit, so maybe can take a few hits. But yeah, it didn't. Grant does look in some pain, but I can't really see what happened.
Carlin Grant, 1 goal so far this season. Of course, a £15 million signing from Huddersfield Town. Big price tag on his shoulders. Struggled at times maybe with the weight of that expectation. We hope he is okay and able to carry on and just have the rest of this game to perhaps break his scoring duck a little bit, as we look at the replay on the big screen of that chance for Oliver Burke a few moments ago for Sheffield, saved by Sam Johnson. And as treatment continues, Ollie Burke, when he first came through, seemed as a real rising star as a teenager, wasn't he? And for whatever reason, his career has just lost a bit of momentum and a bit of fizz.
Yeah, I think you look at the season that Sheffield had, last season, Mousset 6 goals, McBurney scoring 6 goals, so he was probably struggling to get in the team because they were doing so well, and again, like I said earlier, Sheffield were a victim of their own success, and again, when that happens and strikers are playing well, it doesn't help that the substitute, you play a part, but as a forward myself, you always want to play the biggest part in games as possible. So yeah, unfortunate for him really that United did so well last season, but now he's in the team and getting a run of games under his belt, and he needs to turn that into goals.
Well, he was 16 when he came through at Nottingham Forest. Of course, ended up at RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga for a while, then to West Brom, a couple of loans, now to Sheffield United. He's still only 23, Oliver Burke, so we shall see whether or not this is the move that finally makes him. Some people it takes longer than others to really break through and feel comfortable, but it doesn't necessarily make you any less of a player once you do click, even if you've had a slightly more circuitous journey. By the way, Sander Berge has got in the book for that collision with Grant. I thought it was more a kind of meaty 50-50, but I guess he has got the referee's notebook.
Yeah, I agree. Look more of a coming together for me.
Well, as we mentioned, Mike Dean doesn't necessarily always endear himself to West Brom. On this particular occasion, though, he books the opposition. He, of course, as I touched on, sent off the West Brom manager during their 5-2 defeat, it was, the second week of the season, to Everton. Sheffield United a goal down, 20 minutes gone on Premier League Live. West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0. For any listening around the world, keep your tweets in at TalkSport Live. DJ Keefe says riding his Vespa around South Beach in Miami, Florida, thinking this might turn into a really good match. He says the Man City game was a bore, no proper tough challenges. We can't let City dominate games like that. This one is a proper English match, and great job, guys. Yeah, DJ Keith, very nice to be in South Beach, Florida, as we settle into the Balti Pies and so on here in West Brom. I think he's right. This is a proper game, isn't it? It's a proper relegation dogfight between two nice, gnarled, grizzled teams.
Yeah, definitely, and won't be the prettiest of games to watch, but it will still, that has its own place in the game, and long may it continue.
But you've been involved in a few of these over the years. I'll get Courtney's thoughts on that in a second. Goal scorer Gallagher just dallies on the ball a bit there and loses out to Ollie McBurney. Burnley may have not scored this season, but there's a huge amount of work without the ball and works tirelessly for his team. Another Scotland international did hit the crossbar in that defeat against West Ham last time out. Hasn't scored this season. He's been chugging away, the former Swansea man. But Burnley won the free kick there. Fleck with a clever little dummy. Lee Burke tries to play a 1-2 with effectively his fellow strike partner at Burnley. He's playing as the central forward with Burke just off him. Gallagher gets away with the error. Sheffield United press and try and put West Brom under pressure again in that very foggy and shrouded far left-hand corner. Partly emerging from the gloom, I think.
That press was quite isolated there, and Oliver Burke's going to try and press by himself, really, and if they're going to press high like that, the whole team needs to push up and do it together to win the ball back, because you've just got no chance doing it that way, one man on his own.
Ajay with a little bit of space to come forward from the right-hand centre-half berth. Clever interplay here from West Brom. That was much more like it. Right wing-back Darnell Furlong found the space to put in the cross, and John Egan, the Sheffield United skipper, reacting first, sticking out a boot and just guiding the ball behind. Nice little back heel from Pereira in the build-up there as well.
Yeah, lovely little bit of skill, and again the ball's really good across the box. It's got a nice bit of pace on it, but John Egan in the right place at the right time just to cut that out.
Pretty much exactly halfway through the first half, 22 minutes and 30 seconds gone. West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0. Conor Gallagher the scorer 10 minutes ago. It's the Baggies' third corner of the game to Sheffield's 2. Again, Pereira bends it in. Another flick on from the near post. I think it was Callum Robinson who got up there. This time Sheffield United happy to watch the ball just fizz past them. Chris Basham on the far side of the area is the man who picks it up. Works the ball forward wearing 6. Once more, Sheffield United can't quite control it. West Brom get it back and also play it off a Blade shirt and win the throw. Exactly bang on halfway.
Yeah, better clearance that time from the corner, but when they get that ball clear, they just need to try and get it under control and obviously keep possession instead of giving it straight back to West Brom.
Ivanovic, who won so many pieces of silverware during his successful tenure at Stamford Bridge with Chelsea. Stint away from the Premier League and now back with West Brom. Connor Townsend, the left wing back, just gives the ball away there and immediately apologises to his teammates. Pretty sure it was Townsend who made that block to deny George Baldock earlier on. It was hard to see again in the gloom, but I think it was him.
Yeah, and what an important block that is to effectively save a goal.
Now, Egan's given the ball away. Chance for a second here for West Brom, and they are not far away. Very rare sloppy moment there from Egan. On the far side, Pereira's got a devilish left foot, let rip, a couple of yards wide of Aaron Ramsdale's left-hand post.
Yeah, and dragged that, as you say, slightly wide, but it's a good strike. But West Brom on the front foot there, and you know, sometimes when the ball ricochets at the back and no one's on the front foot to collect it, it stays in possession of the team. But West Brom doing really well there. 3 players around the ball, trying to win it back high, and results in a shot off. Should be on target really, and working the keeper. But fair play to them. They're doing well, pressing high.
Sure, the fog's getting worse again, Courtney. I can barely see you now. This is. One of the foggier games I've seen for a good while.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, keepers especially, get affected by that. So it'd be interesting to see how they deal with that and if it has any effect on the game. But as you say, it definitely looks like it's getting worse.
Hopefully we get through it. I'm sure we will. 25 gone. West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0. Just a reminder, by the way, of the other results of the day so far. Brighton and Liverpool drawing 1-1. The Reds have gone back top, but Spurs play, of course, tomorrow UK time. They've got a game in hand and would go top themselves, Jose Mourinho's men. If they could down Chelsea, who sit third, they could go top themselves if they win that game on goal difference. So should be an absolute cracker. Lots of controversy in that game. Liverpool with a couple of disallowed goals by VAR. Penalty awarded late on that was a bit controversial. This penalty earlier in the game as well. After that, Man City stuffing Burnley as they always do. This time 5-0, including a Riyad Mahrez hat-trick. And the game that we brought you just before ours. Everton 0, Leeds United 1. Diaz Baloli with the goal. 79 minutes. The Whites get a win, and Everton's blip in form continues. That's where we're at. We've got Southampton, Manchester United, the aforementioned Chelsea, Spurs, and Arsenal Wolves. There's 3 more commentary games tomorrow. Already this match week, Friday night, Newcastle leading it late but winning 2-0. Another out of form team, Crystal Palace. Monday night, Leicester Fulham, West Ham Aston Villa round off game week 10. We should say, of course, 6 game weeks in the Premier League alone in December. It's going to be very busy, isn't it?
Yeah, a packed schedule for all the teams involved. Great for us, maybe not so much for the managers and players having to do it.
Arsenal I do a bit of work for as well as here. I've got 9 games in a month, which is ridiculous. A couple of Europa League, Carabao Cup quarter-final, 6 in the league. It is very, very congested. Jurgen Klopp's not been happy about some of the scheduling, with early Premier League kick-offs on Saturdays on the back of Champions League games on Wednesdays, but I suppose somebody is always going to have to miss out by nature.
Yeah, and again, those teams that are in those cup competitions still, to a degree, a victim of their own success.
Chance maybe down the right-hand side as Furlong slides to keep the ball in play for West Brom. He was always stretching though, and as a result, lacked a bit of purchase and power on his cross. Aaron Ramsdale happily plucked it out. And of course, he was with Bournemouth last season, did largely well. Couldn't stop the Cherries being relegated down to the Championship, and as Courtney touched on before, when Dean Henderson, the magnificent Man United loanee, went back to his parent club for the season and left a gaping hole to fill in that Sheffield United goal. Ramsdale's come in and done well. I just think that maybe Henderson was so good that it's hard to live up to.
Yeah, I think he's done well and can't be blamed really for any of the losses. And then you look at the other end of the pitch and they've only scored 4 goals. So at the end of the day,
and 5 in all competitions as well.
Yeah, so goals win games at the end of the day, and it's all well and good keeping them out of the net, but if you can't score, you're never going to win. So I think that's where Sheffield United have really got to address their issues, and whether that's they're not getting enough shots on target, or is it the fact that the midfield aren't supplying the forwards well enough. But 4 goals is not good enough in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's just 5 as you mentioned in all comps, 3 for McGoldrick, 1 each for Sharp and Burge, and interestingly Billy Sharp, the club icon, not even on the bench tonight. Here comes Sheffield United though. Excellent run from Oliver Burke, who ghosted his way around 2 players, but he's trying to work the ball onto his right foot. I think the actual pass, the decision making left a little bit to be desired, and after a good run, just that telling final ball needed to be a bit better.
Yeah, he's got fantastic pace and strength to get in behind there, but that final ball, he's just got to try and pick someone out.
Burke did not manage to do so. We've seen his glancing header be saved by Sam Johnston. We've seen him put together a nice little run there as well, as Oliver Burke, as we mentioned, returns to the team. Foul on the far side. Chris Basham the guilty party this time as Mike Dean blows his whistle. Basham's not happy. He feels he was shoved in the back before he then inadvertently handled, and I think it was Carlin Grant maybe indulging 1 or 2 dark arts there.
Yeah, a strike.
You'd never do that as strikers, would you?
Absolutely never.
Well, it worked, and Grant won the free kick for West Brom. Nice little through ball from Ajayi, who's looked good with his creativity from the back three, playing almost as a sweeper on occasion. Trying to find Callum Robinson, he couldn't quite get there. Hurries Ramsdale's clearance though. West Brom come again. Conor Gallagher. Robinson shot from distance. Did that ricochet off Egan? I think it did. Again, tough to tell in the fog. Yeah, it did come off Egan's backside. Robinson pulling the trigger and winning yet another West Brom corner.
Yeah, it's a nice little reverse ball there into him. Gets the shot off early, but good block by Egan, but another corner. And I think especially because the first goal is come from a corner, obviously not directly, but the ricochets of a corner. West Brom will be they'll be noting that and maybe putting it into that front post again to try and catch Sheffield United out.
There's plenty of West Brom jerseys up for this one, I can tell you. It's kind of like a barcode, their shirt this season. Some of them are thicker and some of them are thinner stripes. I don't know if you could scan one of those or not.
Yeah, I wonder if you went through self-scan what it had come up as.
Might just blow it up. Half an hour gone. West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0. Herrera again, having played a little 1-2 with Romain Sawyers. Not seen a huge amount of Sawyers in this game so far in his second spell with the club now, but worked quite nicely to get a different angle of delivery. Just a shame that he ended up getting caught offside. That is quite sloppy, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, he didn't come out quick enough to meet that. And as I say, especially when you've scored from getting the ball in the box from a corner, it's maybe a strange decision to do that. And then especially when you get offside, I imagine Bilic will be going apoplectic on the side because, yeah, getting caught offside there. Yeah, I've done it before, and you don't want the ear bashing, trust me.
Have you had apoplectic managers at you at that point?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But, you try and tune it out and pretend like you've not heard anything.
Just get on and do your thing. Spot on. 31 minutes gone. West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0. This is the voice of Sheffield United WSL striker, formerly of Liverpool and Everton and England under-23s, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk alongside me. Welcome to God's own country, my part of the world, Midlands. West Brom, just on the outskirts of Birmingham. Of course, that country divide of West Brom and Wolves is always the famous one, but the Villa games, the Birmingham games as well, also big encounters. All the teams in this area have got proud histories and fierce rivalries between them, and West Brom is a proper historic football club, isn't it, when you think some of the great players that have come through here over the years.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable with the history that they've got within the club. And yeah, I feel like, they're back where they should be in terms of in the Premier League, the big history of the club, and I think similar to Leeds as well, such a big history, so to have big clubs like that in the Premier League is definitely a bonus.
So Wolves up the road have got all the money though, which hasn't been lost on the Baggies faithful. They have to try and punch above their weight, slightly more frugal financial footing, same really as Sheffield United. Seeing a little bit more of Sawyers, who finds Herrera once more. On his weaker right foot, goes for the cross shot, tried to drag it onto his left and struggled. In the end though, a powerful connection, and Oliver Norwood this time makes the interception and puts it behind for yet another West Bromwich Albion corner. And for me there, the Blades players were all backing off the West Brom forward, weren't they?
Yeah, and you see he had quick feet there to get himself to the byline, a bit of trickery, and they knew he was in the box, so you don't want to be giving away a penalty. That's the last thing they want to do, but luckily because it came from the free kick, Sheffield United had a lot of numbers back to make the block.
Now, interestingly, Furlong is claiming he had his shirt pulled, and the referee has gone over to speak to Max Lowe, the left wing back for Sheffield United. And again, those same two players, Furlong and Lowe, are jostling again. Now it's Furlong saying, "What did I do? Butter wouldn't melt in my mouth." We get on with it finally. Another dangerous delivery. Ramsdale comes, claims, doesn't get there. Ball flies over the crossbar, took another deflection for yet another corner. I guess we can say Ramsdale did just about enough to disrupt, but there was a bit of flapping in there as well.
I think he might have got, he actually comes to catch it and drops it.
Yeah.
Trying to come through bodies, you've got to be strong there, and I don't think he takes that much of a knock, to be honest. He should be catching that, but does well to sort of think he makes a save from the second shot.
Himself into a little bit of trouble, Ramsdale, as he tried to run through a congested penalty area. Kind of atoned. Wonderful chance for the second. Oh, great block, and it's somehow hacked off the line. And again, Carlin Grant is denied a goal. Ramsdale with the save, and then West Brom's shirts all scurried toward the goal line. Sheffield United defence gets the ball clear. Great chance for a second.
Yeah, great chance. The actual initial header was a free header. No one picking him up, which is terrible by United. And then Grant does well. It sort of bobbles up. It's behind him. He manages to turn and get a shot off, but Ramsdale's there, and it's a really good save and the follow-up as well on the line.
Yeah, George Baldock with that follow-up. Gallagher looking for a second goal, and again mishits this one even more than the first one, but again he manages to make its way through that sea of bodies. And it's actually a slightly awkward save for Ramsdale on the half volley, but crucially he saw that one a bit earlier and it really did lack pace, and Ramsdale makes the save, and it's Conor Gallagher a second goal. Approaching 35 minutes gone here on Premier League Live. West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0. If this were to stay as the result, and I stress if, by the end of the game West Brom would climb above both Fulham and Burnley, come temporarily out of the relegation zone, which could be a real shot in the arm for the Christmas fixtures to come. Slightly hurried clearance downfield from Keane Bryan on this occasion, but Ollie Burke does beautifully. He's now in a one-on-one situation against Ajayi. Ajayi stands tall and, having been initially turned, wins it back well. That sets up another potential West Bromwich Albion counter-attack. Ball lofted from right to left as far as Connor Townsend. He was up against his fellow wing-back George Baldock. Takes the throw quickly and frees Callum Robinson. West Brom with 70% possession in the last 10 minutes. They've been back all over the Blades. It's been end-to-end at times, but the Baggies the better team of late, and of course they've already got the stranglehold of the early goal as well. So I guess so far so good.
Yeah, they're keeping the ball so much better than United. I think when it does go up to Burke quite a lot, he's so isolated because it's the long ball. They're not playing through midfield, and then, you know, he's made some good runs, Burke, but there's no one up there with him to support him.
Grant to the right back. Furlong, who continued his run. He's slightly out of position, and Ajayi just eases over to cover that right-sided defensive berth if needs be, but Sheffield United don't really spot that gap and force the issue. They're happy to just stroke another fairly languid sequence of passes around the back. They're often being prevented from playing football in damaging areas, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, West Brom are doing really well with their high press, and the thing is they can change from that high press as well. When they defend and go into a bit of a low block, sometimes there's 5 or 6 along their back line, so it's really hard to find space in between it. So I've been really impressed with how they've switched between that.
Looking well so far. As again, Bryan comes in field. Ball over the top from Basham. Nice turn from Sander Berge. He's normally an excellent player. We've not seen much of him in a positive sense in this game so far, but a surging, powerful run. Much more trademark from the Norwegian. Out to low. In field as far as Oliver Norwood. Back to Berge. Nice crossing the right-hand side, but it's overstruck. It was a Swedish delivery, but probably just needed a bit more power and a little bit more purchase on it. And immediately Bulldog apologises. It actually been Basham who crossed that one from the far side. Again, Sheffield United's full-backs and the centre-halves overlapping and intertwining. We do see a lot of that, don't we?
Yeah, and that's one of the tenets of their game for quite a few years now, and people said they couldn't do that in the Premier League last season. They did it successfully, so obviously not so much as successful this season, but I think yes, the cross was overhit slightly, but there was no one in that back stick to, whether it's a shot on goal or to nod it back across.
West Brom with no wins in 9 to start the first season for the first time in 35 years. They're actually winless in 13 league games, and they're on the defensive now. It's the two number 14s going toe-to-toe in Burke and Townsend. Sheffield United put in the cross. Ollie McBurney goes down under pressure from Ajayi. No real appeals for a penalty though, and Ajayi stood tall there against a very muscular opponent in the burly Scottish striker. West Brom, wonderful counter-attack and a good chance for a second. Cross over the top from Romain Sawyers as far as Callum Robinson. Robinson just turning off the shoulder of the last defender, just couldn't quite free the shackles to get the shot away. We'll credit Egan and Sheffield, stretched but getting the job done defensively. It's end-to-end all of a sudden here at the Hawthorns on Premier League Live as Sheffield United counter-attack. See much more of Sander Berge now. Here he is, running up against his man. This is a much better run as he beats Townsend, all ends up to McBurney. Now to Max Lowe. Tries to run round his man in the form of Furlong. Lowe unleashes the shot. Business behind. I think that took a deflection for a corner. Max Lowe, Sander Berge, both getting more into the game as we tick toward half-time.
Yeah, like I said, now they're getting numbers up more with McBurney and Burke, which is needed. They're doing well to do that, but I think when they're around the box, it was still quite slow because West Brom get numbers back so quickly, and like say 7 or 8 players behind the ball, they need to try and move the ball a bit quicker to fashion a shot.
It is a Sheffield United corner. It's a deep ball to the far side, powerful header. Basham was up there, McBurney was up there, and in the end it flew straight into the gloves of Johnston in the West Brom goal. It was McBurney's header. It was just from too acute an angle to really make it a difficult save, but another half chance.
Yeah, at least it's a shot on target, heads it down into the ground, which sometimes you are taught to do, but it's took quite a lot of the power off it, so easy for Johnston to collect.
This time was Maxlow fouled. He feels he was as he slides along the Hawthorns turf. There's a big skid mark as he slid along on his knees. Nothing given though. Maxlow looks frustratingly at Michael Dean and play goes on. 40 minutes gone. West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0. West Brom's last league win was back in July the 8th, toward the end of the championship season, 4 games before the end of it, and they beat Derby 2-0. Everything since has not resulted in a W. By the way, if this game is a draw, it would mean it would only be the 3rd time in Premier League history that 2 teams in the division in the same season have not reached just opportunity on the far side for a Burge over the bar. It'll be the first time that 2 teams have failed to win any of their opening 10 games. Not the kind of history that you want. Sheffield doing their best to try and prevent that as McBurney eats the ball through to Burge. Not a bad effort, but always rising in the end, Courtney.
No, I was just looking at Burke as well. I think when it goes through, I don't think he's expecting Burge to get on the end of it. He does, and then at the last minute he's got a sprint in there to get across, and I think he was moaning at him that the ball's not come across, but he was behind him because he wasn't expecting him to get it. I didn't think he thought Burge had that turn of pace in him.
Is that an example as well of Burke being in and out of the team this season and probably just not having that consistency of playing alongside someone like Burge week in, week out?
Yeah, definitely. As a forward, it's easier when the players around you almost don't think and things become second nature. So yeah, if he's been in and out of the team, it's difficult to form those relationships.
Robinson against his old team, looking for a 3rd Premier League goal and a 4th of the season, right edge of the area. Nothing really doing. In the end, he decides to play the ball to Furlong, who whips in a beautiful delivery, the right wing back, and creates all sort of uncertainty in the Sheffield United defence. In the end, Basham and Ramsdale pretty much getting each other's way, with Robinson waiting to pounce. It was ugly, and in the end, Egan heads it behind for yet another West Brom corner. Crisis averted.
Yeah, that's not great there. You want your keeper to be vocal and clearing people out, coming for that, but Basham, he's just had to get rid of it. But yeah, that's worrying signs for Blades.
Dean Henderson's communication as a keeper was so good. If anything, Ramsdale is taller and a more physical specimen, but that is not anything. It's not close to it for a keeper, is it?
No, I think for me, the more vocal a keeper, it makes me feel safer.
Herrera again with another corner, and this time it almost curved its way in for a goal from the corner kick itself, and Ramsdale had to claw the ball away from his own goal line under considerable pressure. He did so, got it just beyond the edge of the penalty area. West Brom missed control, and Sheffield United endeavour to counter-attack. Ball forward from Burge once more. As far as Burke, he's adjudged to have brought his man down, and he's furious. He was just peeling and planning a run toward the edge of the penalty area. Turned up against, I think it was Connor Townsend, and that's a pretty soft free kick, I'd say.
Soft. I think he was just stronger, and again, McBurney is up with him, but he's probably just sat behind Burke in more of a 10 role. So Burke's doing all that running, doing all that work to try and get on the end of the long balls, and when you play in that sort of lone striker role, it's so frustrating, and then especially when you get a soft free kick against you like that, it doesn't feel great.
As we mentioned, Burke and Robinson swapping clubs a season or so ago, and now lining up against the team that swapped them, both of them in this game, and both returning to the side for tonight as well from the bench, both with plenty to prove, and both would love the last laugh. I bet, did you feel like that when you played old clubs, or not necessarily? Does it depend on a few different factors?
Yeah, it does depend. I think, some clubs more than others if you've not maybe had the best time there. But I think it's just more than anything, it's human nature. Every game you want to play well, and you always want to play well against your former clubs, and that's not necessarily a slight against them, but I think it's just human nature.
You've played for Everton and Liverpool, so you know that as much as anybody, I would have thought.
Yeah, definitely. Not probably the best decision I've ever made in terms of a Merseyside reception. But fantastic time at both clubs, so I can't complain at that.
And on the Liverpool men's team for a second, we talked about the controversy, but league-wise, as I touched on, they are back top for now, but it's really tight near the top, isn't it? It's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic to watch, and I think that's why we love the Premier League, because it's the most competitive league in the world, and even more so this year.
Exactly. After a 2-day one-horse race last season, really good to see. Probably 6 or 7 clubs in with some form of shout. Sam Johnson, long clearance as McBurney and a rate of knots tried to close in and put the West Brom keeper under pressure. At the other end of the field, the Baggies endeavour to counter-attack again. Good pace this time from Carlan Grant, who Egan under pressure. Got the ball back to Ramsdale. Continue to see a bit more of Romain Sawyers, who Varys couple of spells at West Brom. Ended up with the likes of Walsall, again just down the M5. Part of my family are from. Banks' Stadium. Sawyers again. As far as Gallagher, the goal scorer, was fouled by Fleck, but referee Dean plays advantage. Here's Pereira. Again, Sheffield United defenders stand off him. He's allowed to ghost his way to the edge of the penalty area. Ball over the top. As far once more as Furlong. He cuts in field. Shot just wide from Pereira. Again, he was afforded acres of time and space to get his shot away. Brazilian, again, just wide of target.
Yeah, he was, and as you say, the Blaze defenders are standing off him, and he's the sort of player that you can't give time and space to. Someone at some point, within 20-30 yards, needs to engage him, needs to put him under pressure, because the more chances you give him to get a shot off, invariably one's going to go in the back of the net.
TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in. Carol, who's a Manchester City fan, listening to us, to send us a picture of the Florida sunshine, saying loving the commentary guys as normal. Again, we're at a very foggy Hawthorns. And there you are, with a glorious picture of the Gulf Coast, with an azure blue sky and a few fluffy clouds and a few nice trees. Excellent work at TalkSport Live. Keep your tweets coming in. Pictures are always welcome. What you're up to, where you're listening from. We'll read the best out. 45 seconds of the first half to go. 1 more minute or just under of the additional time. Free kick on the far side though to Sheffield United. Not the best struck. Easily coped with by West Brom, who could counter-attack here. Sawyers really has grown into this game over the last few minutes. Beats his man once more and plays another 1-2 with the right wing back Darnell Furlong. It's back to Sawyers again. To Grant this time. West Brom 1 goal to the good. Could they nick a second before half-time? Will they engineer one more opportunity at goal? Possibly not, as Sheffield United press them back to halfway. Branislav Ivanovic, he started the game by being booked for hacking down his man. Finishes it with a nice interception. Sawyers, once more as far as Ajay. He's now under pressure, and I wonder if West Brom might just pull things down and accept their 1-goal lead. That's exactly what they do. That lead coming courtesy of Conor Gallagher's first of the season, the Chelsea loanee, with a crisp-ish strike from about 25 yards out following a corner. Wasn't particularly well cleared by Sander Berge, and Gallagher pulled the trigger. An unsighted Ramsdale, no chance really of getting there, and in the blink of an eye, the ball had nestled itself into the bottom of the net. The Blades have had their opportunities. West Brom could have easily had another, but at the break, this all-important 6-pointer at the bottom, the basement battle, is West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0 on Premier League Live.
What will you really gain from using anabolic steroids? Using illegal anabolic steroids can lead to nasty and serious side effects, both physical and psychological. Heart failure, infertility, hair loss, acne, mood swings, increased aggression. Don't lose out to steroid gains. Know the risks. Visit zerogains.ie. A message from the Health Products Regulatory Authority.
Amazon's Black Friday week is here, so you can either shop last-minute presents and be a Christmas nobody, or shop now and become a Christmas hero.
Wow, best present ever.
Amazon's Black Friday week, 20th to 30th November. Shop now, relax later.
There's certain matchday sounds we are all missing.
but there are others we don't have to. Is Carlsberg Pilsner the best beer to enjoy while watching the match at home? Probably. Carlsberg Pilsner, probably the best beer in the world. Enjoy Carlsberg sensibly. Visit drinkaware.ie.
This is not the time for business as usual. It's time for effort and imagination. It's time to use technology to start your online plans. It's time to work from home to stay in touch. It's time to look to each other. Erskog Kayla. Ireland is working online with help from Black Knight and .ie, because now we need better than business as usual. Call Black Knight on 059 918 3027 or visit blackknight.ie. Create the Premier League atmosphere at home with Harvey Norman, the home of the big screen. Feel like you're on the pitch with our stunning range of 4K smart LED and OLED TVs from LG, starting from just $449. Plus, hear every kick, save, tackle, decision with LG's best-in-class soundbars. Get TV ready for all the big games with Harvey Norman. Shop online today or safely in our spacious stores. Harvey Norman, home of the big screen.
As Ireland's homegrown insurer, FPD knows it's empowering when someone has your back. So switch your van insurance to us and get up to 75% no-claim discount. Visit fpd.ie to request a quote. FPD Insurance. Support. It's what we do. Terms, conditions and underwriting criteria apply. 75% no-claims discount is based on proof of 5 years no-claims discount and available to new commercial motor customers only. FPD Insurance Group Limited, trading as FPD Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Commercial motor insurance is underwritten by FPD Insurance plc.
123inc.ie have your office needs covered. So whether you're an accountant, butcher, carpenter, dentist, electrician, florist, graphic designer, hairdresser, journalist, lecturer, musician, optician, retailer, teacher, solicitor, web designer, or yoga instructor, we've got what you need. And we're cheaper than your current supplier. 123inc.ie. For home, for office, for less.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of West Bromwich Albion against Sheffield United from the Hawthorns. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves, and alongside me is the Sheffield United Women's Super League striker, once of Everton and Liverpool, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, and this is Premier League Live. Properly foggy here at the Hawthorns. At half-time, West Brom lead this battle of the bottom to 1-0. How crucial could that prove to be, I wonder, in a few months' time in terms of staying in the English top tier? We'll get back to our game in a second, but let's bring you some post-match reaction from the match that finished before us, being 1-0 victory for Leeds United away at Everton. We'll hear first of all from Toffee's boss Carlo Ancelotti, hailing an entertaining game and congratulating the winning side as well.
I think it was a great game, yes, with a lot of intensity. We knew this. We were prepared for this. We knew that we had opportunity in counter-attack. We knew that we could suffer defensively because there is a team that put in front a lot of players. We had more problems in the first half than compared to the second. The second we were more in control. At the end, I think they scored a goal from outside the box, and they could score before. We could score before, but at the end they scored early than us, and they won.
Let's also bring you a bit of post-match reaction from Leeds' Macedonian star Ercan Alioski, who was delighted to edge what he admitted was a tight game.
It's crazy. I think it's beautiful football for the fans, of course, but if it's 3-3 for us, it's not good for the team that receive a lot of goals, but for the fans it's a beautiful football because it's attractive, going down, up and down. Yeah, I was surprised that it's 0-0, but yeah, can happen everything on this game, and we was the team that I think on them we deserved to score. I think we had a lot of more chances, 100% chances, and of course they can also score, but yeah, on the end we fight for this win.
Ercan Alioski there after a 1-0 win for Leeds United at Everton, and I just wonder where, Courtney, Leeds could come the end of the season. They've obviously still got the odd brickety result performance in them, and fair enough for a team that's back into the top tier, but largely they entertain and they seem to be heading in the right direction, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. As I said earlier, I think they've gained themselves a lot of fans within football because of the way they play, and they are exciting. And don't get me wrong, no one begrudges a team coming up and being defensive and trying to get 1-0 wins, but the way that Leeds do it is exciting for the fans. And, you know, potentially the sky's the limit for them. I think, you know, to keep players clinical is the most important thing for them. Bamford obviously went on a good run, but, you know, all the good play, it has to have an end product. So that is the most important thing for them. Keep scoring goals, and they could be, right up there.
And for me, one of the issues for Everton at the moment is you've got Luca Digne out for 3 months-ish. Seamus Coleman is out as well, and their full-back or wing-back cover does seem quite light, doesn't it? And to have the likes of Alex Iwobi being forced to play as emergency wing-backs and maybe not trusting in the likes of a John Joe Kenny, I don't know, I'm a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah, I think, as you say, down that side now, they're in a difficult position, and I rate Luca Digne a lot. He's fantastic, the way he gets up and down the pitch, his technique and his delivery, and how he assists goals. It is obviously a big miss for Everton, and one of the reasons why they are on a bit of a slump in their run of form.
Brighton 1, Liverpool 1, Man City 5, Burnley 0, the other 2 games. And West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0. It's the half-time score here on Premier League Live. Let's remind you of how the first 45 minutes played out. Herrera takes another low fizzing delivery. Shot from distance is on target, and it's into the corner from Conor Gallagher through a sea of bodies, sweetly struck by the Chelsea loading, and it flies below Ramsdale's left-hand glove and into the corner of the net.
It's not an absolutely fantastic strike. I don't think he hits it overly clean, but the problem is there, it's coming through so many bodies for Ramsdale, and he's struggling to see it, sees it at the last minute, tries his best to stretch to get to it, but it's placed well in the corner, so he can't get to it.
Right. This little 1-2. Keane Bryant keeps the ball in play, puts in a decent delivery and a wonderful save from Sam Johnson. It was Ollie Burke the Scot against his old team with a glancing header. Johnson first to react, gloves it over the bar for a corner. Wonderful chance for the second. Oh, great block, and it's somehow hacked off the line. And again, Colin Grant is denied a goal. Ramsdale with the save, and then West Brom shirts all scurried toward the goal line. Sheffield United defence gets the ball clear. Great chance for a second. That's where we stand. Just looking, Courtney, at the benches. You got Hal Robson-Kanu, Matty Phillips, Grady Dean Garner. Kravinovic can have a little bit of a creative sort of streak to him as well. Raheem Harper as well. So there's a fair bit from West Brom's point of view here if they need it, isn't there?
Yeah, I think they won't look to change it too quickly. I think they'll maybe give it 5-10 minutes, see how the second half goes, and go from there in terms of performance. I don't know whether Bilic might want to change it round because of injuries and the amount of rotation they'll need. But in terms of the performance, I don't think they'll need to change it too quickly. Whereas I think Chris Wilder will be looking to his forward options on the bench to maybe change it round a bit and try and get that equaliser.
And from those options, you've got 3 obvious ones here, haven't you? In Ryan Brewster from Liverpool, hasn't scored this season yet, but still full of hope that at some point he might. David McGoldrick, always a perennial trier, 3 goals this season, 3 of the 5 the club have scored. And Lys Mousset back after this foot surgery. I mean, they're all quite contrasting options, aren't they?
Yeah, McGoldrick is a bit different. He's more of a link player and will bring people into play, which I think could work in this game. As I said, they're not getting players up to Burke quick enough, but what he does though on the ball, he runs towards goal, obviously, which as a forward is a good thing in some respects, but he's not giving the rest of the players time to get up the pitch with him, so that could work. And again, Mousset, it's hard because he's a fantastic player, but in terms of his fitness, is he fit enough to get a good chunk of 40-35 minutes after being out for a prolonged period of time? In an ideal world, you want to be up maybe 1 or 2-0 and have the luxury of bringing him on and adding to it, but unfortunately Blades aren't in that position at the moment.
Just focus a bit more than on Sheffield United, where of course you currently play. You've talked a fair bit already to us about that kind of relationship between the women's team and the men's team. How much do you interact with them, with the players, and also with someone like Chris Wilder, say?
Not a hell of a lot at the moment, but that's due to sort of the COVID protocols and being in and out the training grounds at different times, which is unfortunate. But sort of from what I know last season, and Chris Wilder always sent his well wishes in terms of how the club sort of lend their services in the big games and sort of the media side and stuff like that. It has been really good. So unfortunately, just because of the times that we're living in, there's not been that face-to-face interaction as such, but I'm sure they all wish as well as we do them.
He's looking for his 100th win in all competitions as Sheffield United boss today. He's been stuck on 99, as we well know, for far, far too long. Will that all change? We will wait and see. So I guess just as we build toward that second half. I'm just wondering what tactically either team can do or needs to do, and what perhaps the managers and assistants are looking at stat-wise and technically wise to maybe just turn the tide in the second half.
Yeah, that sort of 70% set possession to West Brom at the end of the half won't, sit well with Chris Wilder. So they need to gain a bit more possession of the ball. The thing for me is it's sort of a route one and a long ball, and it needs another couple of passes for me, whether it goes through the midfield or goes wide. As I said before the game, I think it's a bit of a battle of the wing backs, and West Brom have certainly won that battle at the moment. So I think they need a couple of extra passes, get more numbers up to Burke and McBurney, like they did towards the end of the first half there with Bergen. I think it was Norwood and Fleck around. So they need to do that more and get more numbers and move the ball more quickly, and whether they might change the formation a little bit to suit that, I don't know, or whether it'll just be a more of a player-based change and bring substitutes on.
Courtney, thank you very much indeed. Joe Cromwell is putting up his Christmas tree in Morris, Illinois while listening to us. Going to do us tomorrow, I think. Yeah, the festive time of year is not far away. At TalkSport Live, keep your tweets from around the world coming in. Let us know what you're doing. And I think this match will come, how the players, how the teams will maybe stay up or not come the end of the campaign. At TalkSport Live, second half of our commentary up next. TalkSport Live.
Demanding a high performance from your team? You should be demanding the same from your tyres. The Irish Tyre Industry Association is urging motorists to stay safe this winter and check the condition of your tyres. You could even be liable for a fine and 2 penalty points if found driving with tyres below the legal tread depth limit of 1.6 millimetres. ITIA expert technicians will carry out a free tyre safety check to ensure your tyres are safe and legal. Visit itia.ie to find your local expert.
As Ireland's homegrown insurer, FPD knows it's empowering when someone has your back. So switch your van insurance to us and get up to 75% no-claim discount. Visit fpd.ie to request a quote. FPD Insurance. Support. It's what we do. Terms, conditions and underwriting criteria apply. 75% no-claims discount is based on proof of 5 years no-claims discount and available to new commercial motor customers only. FPD Insurance Group Limited, trading as FPD Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Commercial motor insurance is underwritten by FPD Insurance PLC.
Upgrade your home viewing experience at Curry's PC World. See every tackle, shot and goal in crystal clear definition with our huge range of the latest to market large screen TVs with massive savings. Like save up to €130 on Samsung 4K TVs from only $459. And get your TV for half price. 1 in 20 win half their money back. Buy any LG OLED TV to enter with prices from just $1,249. Shop the full range online at currys.ie.
Get ready and hold on tight, because the Premier League is here! Which teams will stay on track, and who'll go off the rail? Get the Irish Sun for top transfer news, exclusive star interviews and opinions from the biggest names in football, plus expert analysis of every action-packed match in our fantastic goals pull-out each weekend. Stay up to speed, because you never know what the Premier League is going to throw up. Pick up the Irish Sun today.
Introducing Guardson Sport. Protect your sporting equipment from COVID-19 for up to 14 days with Guardson Sport disinfectant treatment. Ideal in team sport settings with the sharing of balls, rackets, gloves, helmets and all other sporting equipment. Guardson Sport kills COVID-19 on impact, keeping surfaces free from COVID-19 and other viruses and bacteria for up to 14 days by creating a protective polymer layer on application. For more information on Guardson Sport and other quality assured, certified and approved PPE, visit yourcovidprotection.com.
At Paddy Power, we know competition for the remote control can be fierce at the weekends. So in order to give the non-football loving occupants of your house something to do, here are some of our top suggestions. Go for a walk the dog, go cycling, cycle the dog, recycle the dog, just go! All very good options, we say. And that's not the only one. If one leg of your 4+ fold ACCA lets you down, get a free bet on all football leagues and markets. Paddy Power. Max free bet €10. Min odds 1 to 5 on each leg. Online exclusive. Excludes shop bets. T's and C's apply. 18+. Need help? Visit gamblingcare.ie.
Listening to TalkSport's coverage of West Bromwich Albion against Sheffield United from the Hawthorns. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves. Alongside me, Sheffield United Women's Super League striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk. It's Premier League Live, and we are just underway for the second half. No hanging around from the players. Straight out and getting straight on with it, and that fog has cleared just a little during half-time, I'm pleased to say as well. So Sheffield United kicking from left to right now in the second half from our vantage point on Premier League Live, in those fetching salmon pink tops and socks and grey shorts with pink trim. And West Brom with those barcode blue and white horizontal striped tops, white shorts with blue trim, blue socks with white trim. They're going from right to left. Conor Gallagher, as far as his namesake Connor Townsend for West Brom, back as far as keeper Sam Johnston, smacks it downfield, kept in play on the far side by Keane Bryan, the left-sided centre-half for Sheffield United. Remember, playing his first game in the Premier League for the Blades. There's a gap now in the Sheffield United defence as West Brom surge forward. Good opportunity potentially for Callum Robinson. Cut inside one man, couldn't beat a second. Shot blocked. Behind for an early corner for West Brom in this second half, Courtney.
Yeah, it's a nice ball through. I believe it's Pereira, and it's just his touch. He's out to the left. He wants it just to go across the defender if he can. Tries to chop it back, but Sheffield United defender gets back in time to save the day.
Yeah, George Baldock, who's been busy in this game, started it, of course, with a shot early on. He's been ever industrious, scurrying forward and back. And it was very much his defensive duties that were needed there. West Brom corner, which Pereira takes once more. Far side, the skipper Kyle Bartley, the former Swansea man, rose highest, but he just used a little bit of his opponent's back to climb. Let's take a look at the replay here. Yeah, exactly that. Just shoves Chris Basham in the back as he tries to jump up, and let's be honest, that was not the most subtle of fouls in the end, was it?
No, as you say, two hands in the back, and they're the ones you can't really get away with.
Particularly when the ref's about 3 feet away. I know it's foggy, but you're not going to miss that. It's actually really clearing now, isn't it? I can actually see the whole pitch for the first time since around kick-off.
Yeah, it was a strange one how it seems to have come and go as quickly as it has.
Well, no excuses now for our player recognition. Nice sliding interception from Oliver Norwood, Brighton player, of course, who was loaned out to Fulham in the Premier League a couple of seasons ago, back to his parent club and then to Sheffield United, where he's enjoyed a fair amount of game time. He and John Lundstrom at times fighting for a spot in the team. Lundstrom down to the bench at the moment. Lundstrom's still out of contract, Courtney, at the end of the season, I think I'm right in saying, which has obviously put a question mark about his future big time, hasn't it?
Yeah, and then it's difficult because do you know, as Chris Wilder, as a manager, do you put that player in the team and do you try and build around them knowing that they're going to go at the end of the season? So it's a difficult position for the player and the manager to be in, quite frankly.
Because if it's a good player and your team is weaker without them, maybe you should stick with it, but as you say, it's not always that simple. Anyway, no. Sander Berge is a good player and he's been right on it for the final few minutes of the first half and into the second. He sets up the cross as far as McBurney. I think McBurney pulls the trigger right-footed, takes a ricochet and fizzes behind for a corner. Sheffield United's first proper chance of the second half.
Yeah, it's a nice first time ball in from the right by Basham, and as you say, takes a deflection, but Ollie McBurney gets a decent connection on it, and you never know where those ricochets go. That one's gone out from a corner, but it can also go in the back of the net.
I'm not 100% sure it didn't actually come off Max Lowe, another Sheffield United player. That's what the West Brom players were saying, but the referee was insistent that it was a corner. If anything comes of this, the replay might be quite telling. Anyway, Sheffield United don't really do a huge amount with the dead ball. West Brom push out, press the Blades back to near halfway. Lowe this time surging forward, taken out by Furlong. Lowe's pretty sure he was taken out illegally as he went flying into the advertising hoarding.
Yeah, again, not the most subtle of challenges. It's
a rugby tackle.
Yeah, not quite shoulder to shoulder. He body checks him there, but a good position for the Blades to get a ball in the box.
Yeah, Darnell Furlong, the former QPR man, and there's no run-off at Loftus Road whatsoever, is there? If you do that there, you've been about the fifth row of the stand.
Yeah, I actually thought that was a free kick. It's a West Brom throw-in, unbelievably.
Which is exactly why Mr. Lowe looked so incredulous at the officials. He was definitely rugby tackled there. Nothing given. Nearly 50 minutes gone here on Premier League Live. West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0 at TalkSport Live. Keep your tweets coming in. We'll continue to read the rest of them around the world.
I'm sure there'll be a few making us very jealous.
Absolutely. Neat turn there. Robinson acting as the link man on this occasion, wearing 7. Play broken up, and here come West Brom once more. Connor Townsend as far as Robinson. Puts one into the edge of the box. Sheffield United get it half clear. Fields in once more. Robinson once more. Remember, up against his old team. Twisting and turning. Looking for a fourth of the season, a third in the Premier League. Blocked again by that man George Baldock, and behind for another corner. Not much end product there, but they just kept coming, and I guess in the end they've got their just desert of another corner kick, the Baggies.
Yeah, just keep piling on the pressure, and the thing for me in this first 5 minutes, it was also towards the end of the second half. West Brom just seemed first to everything, every 50-50, every little ricochet, every second ball. They just seemed to be a bit more switched on, a bit more alert and ready on the front foot to get to the ball, and Sheffield always seemed second.
Pereira again, left-footed delivery, it's a good one, powerful header and a brilliant save low to his right from Ramsdale. Did not have much time to react, and as a big man had to get right down onto the goal line to claw that one away, and he did. It was Bartley's header. That was a good save.
Yeah, extremely good save, and I saw Bilic talking to Bartley just as the teams were coming out, so I don't know if that was anything to do with the corners.
Shot from distance. We've seen Conor Gallagher score one goal in this game, and to be honest, he ain't going to be scoring a second with a shot like that. He's got a rueful grin on his face. That one about 15 rows back.
Yeah, that's one of them where I think you almost have to giggle to yourself at the state of it sometimes. But yeah, as I say, the initial header from Bartley was very good, and he, obviously he's a big guy, so getting up very, very well. And I wonder if they're targeting him against the Sheffield United back line.
Sheffield United had kept 4 clean sheets in their last 5 trips to the Hawthorns over the years. They'd won 3, drawn 1 and lost 1, so had a pretty good record. And granted, we've still got best part of 40 minutes to go in this one, but that record under a little bit of threat. It was one of the very few positive stats we could really dig out from a Sheffield United view given their recent woes. This time Ollie McBurney tried to bring it forward and was dispossessed, and West Brom counter-attack. They've got a good chance for a second. It's Gallagher again. 2 players going for the ball. He was one, I think Pereira was the other, and slightly got in each other's way before Gallagher eventually put the shot in. It ended up being a relatively limp affair from a fairly promising surrounding.
Yeah, and that's because, as I've been saying, West Brom are getting numbers up so well in the final third to support everyone, whereas that's where Sheffield United seem to be struggling. Their forward seems so isolated, and I know myself, when you play in that sort of role, it's so difficult to try and keep hold of the ball or go forward when you've got no support.
Another foul on this near stand side. I've got to say, it has been quite a niggly game at times. We've seen no love lost between the players, and this time it was Robinson up against his old team, who was left by Basham with a couple of marks on his skin. About to see the first substitution of the game. Off goes Oliver Norwood, and on comes Rhian Brewster. So, Courtney, of those 3 striking options, Chris Wilder has gone with number 24 Brewster. We'll come on to that in a second, because Sheffield United are on the back foot once more. Here come West Brom through their right wing back Furlong. Deflected ball. Did it go behind for a corner? Yeah, Ramsdale tried to keep it in but couldn't. Out for yet another West Brom corner kick, and Brewster preferred as the first option to either Musset or to McGoldrick.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what that does with the formation as well, with Norwood coming off, because he was sort of more in the midfield on the left, so I don't know whether that means something changing for McBurney and Burke.
12th corner to West Brom already, and for the second time in the game they try a 1-2 from the short corner, and they take a Pereira for a second time is caught offside, and it was sloppy once. To do it twice is really poor.
Yeah, as I say, managers going mad. The first one definitely, the second one most definitely.
Quite tight, wasn't it?
That one was quite tight, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, forward union and all that, but yeah, not the best to be caught offside by a corner twice.
Wasting a very, very good opportunity there. Now, Khaled Bernard has tweeted in from Lagos in Nigeria, sent a picture of himself to us listening in as well. Khaled, good to hear from you, my friend, saying, I just can't see Sheffield United staying up this season. I know it's your club, but these are tough times, and if they do lose this game, it just really starts to see daylight between them and everyone else, let alone daylight between them and mid-table.
Yeah, as I say, we know that this team are capable of putting a good run of performances, but obviously, as you say, in the same breath, the momentum is everything in football, and whether that's positive or negative. So, especially going into the run of games at Christmas, definitely need to start picking points up at some point, because, you know, coming into January, bottom of the league, it's never really a good sign for a club.
No, it most certainly isn't. And how important could January be with some more signings? I wonder. Brewster was a big signing from Liverpool with a potential buy black clause, but not seen a huge amount from the England age group forward as yet in Sheffield United colours. He acts as the link man here, though, and helps work the ball out wide as far as buildup, which was promising. It falls in the end to Basham, who swings a wild left foot at it from Brewster's build-up work. Basham's effort flying high, wide and handsome. Shot from Sheffield United, but in the end, I'm afraid, not a huge amount. Fleck's first effort hits Brewster's back, and in the end, it's fired over from Basham. I wonder if that first effort from Fleck might have troubled the keeper had Brewster not got in the way. Yeah, it was struck really well. It looked to be going across the keeper into the corner, and as I say, momentum is one of those things. It's great when it's with you, and it's horrible when it's not. And, you know, as I said last season, that probably goes in the back of the net from Fleck, whereas this season it's hit his own teammate. Yeah, exactly. That is the little percentiles, the little frustrating moments that aren't going Sheffield United's way. Brewster on, smacks him in the back from Fleck, does fall to Basham, kind of panics as a centre half, out of a nosebleed moment, and fires it over. 57 gone, West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0 here on Premier League Live. A little turn from Pereira, an inadvertent 1-2 with the falling Colin Grant. Here's Robinson, who's upended. He committed himself, Egan, to the tackle. Claims he caught the ball. Even if he did, he got a fair chunk of the man right on the edge of the penalty area, not too far away from being a spot kick to West Brom. As it is, it's a free kick right on the edge of the box. Initially, Grant was possibly fouled. Advantage was played, and as Robinson beat his man, Egan definitely hacked him down there, didn't he? Yeah, he's trying to play the game with Mike Dean, saying he got the ball. I think he got a touch on it, but, you know, he's cleared the man out in Robinson as well. And in this day and age in the game, you just can't do that. And it's a very, very dangerous position right on the edge of the box. Although with free kicks normally in this position, you almost want them a bit further out, because it's hard work to get them up and over the wall and back on target when it's so close. John Egan, the skipper, of course, and an Ireland colleague of Callum Robinson these days. And just to reiterate that point, they were former colleagues themselves at Sheffield before that Robinson-Burke swap deal, so they exchange a couple of moments and a couple of words. Unsurprisingly, after that incident, net result, as Courtney says, they've got to get this one up and over the wall quickly. But Conor Gallagher, the goal scorer, and Pereira, the left footer, are the two players standing over it. Pretty sure it's going to be the left foot of the Brazilian, Matias Pereira. Goes for one of those clever little toe-poked efforts and wasn't too far away, and I think that's gone behind for yet another corner. No, it wasn't far away at all, and yeah, just tries to be a bit of a cultured one, bit of a chip over, just to make sure it gets up and down in time. I think it's McBurney that just gets a head on it, because that looked like it was going top corner, to be honest, so it's an important touch there from McBurney. It's the 404th corner for West Brom, only joking. I think it's their 13th or possibly 14th in this game already. We've not even played an hour. Now Gallagher has just peeled away to the edge of the D. Only scored, of course, in the first half. Again, didn't really catch hold of that one. It was relatively easily blocked by Sheffield United, but the Baggies on the far side keep it in, and they try and formulate another attack through Romain Sawyers. But Sheffield United this time do a nice job of working without the ball, pressing their opponents and forcing West Brom back. Pass from central midfield is overhit. It's beyond Sawyers and out of play for a Sheffield United throw. Abby Mickey has tweeted in saying, loving your commentary, guys, from Port Harcourt in Nigeria. I think Sheffield United will get a point in this game. They just need to keep on pushing. And Abby, yeah, totally get your point. And with other options off the bench to maybe bring on as well, we'll see if they can get a much needed second point of the season. But it's West Brom still in the driving seat. Long ball downfield by Sheffield United, cut out by Barkley. As far as Connor Townsend, who's cut infield. The left wing back, he's scurrying back to that more familiar defensive position as Fleck, the Scot, brings it forward for Sheffield United. Dangerous delivery from the far side. Max Lowe looking to try and spot the substitute, Ryan Brewster. Brewster outstretched to right leg, and this one's taken a deflection. off Bartley and behind for a Sheffield United corner.
Yeah, and what I like about that is three men in the box for United. As I said, they needed to get more players up there, so 3 men in the box initially. I think McBurney was following up on the edge as well, so if anything did drop, he was there, and that's what they need to do, get more men around the ball in the box and get as many shots off as possible.
Remember, 19th v 20th, second bottom versus bottom. It's the home team who lead 1-0. An hour played as the corner is swung in, looking for McBurney, who is a powerful aerial threat, up against another man who ticks a similar box in the form of the veteran Branislav Ivanovic, who, after that early yellow card, has just quietly got on with his game in a kind of understated manner. McBurney's frustrated as he heads wide of goal. Chris Wilder with a slightly more rueful look now as he prepares to make a second substitution.
Yeah, and with 30 minutes now, I think as a sub, when you come on, you want to have enough time to make an impact, and Chris has obviously felt that this is the right time now, and as time ticks away, they need to at least get the equaliser, and the earlier they do get an equaliser, the potential that they might get a winner as well.
Slightly undercooked back pass there from Chris Basham. Ramsdale reacted quickly enough, came charging out with those long lolloping legs and booted the ball downfield. In the end, via a flick on it, went all the way to opposing West Brom stopper Sam Johnston, who of course made that one fine save in the first half to deny Ollie Burke. He's in good form at the moment, never got a look in at Man United, never actually played a game for them, was constantly loaned away, but he's been excellent since going to West Brom, and of course played so well against his former parent club last week as well, despite the Baggies losing 1-0. Sander Berge under pressure from Conor Gallagher, but he turns nicely, the number 8, and finds his right wing back for the Blades, George Baldock. Basham again is the overlapping centre half, pushing forward as far as McBurney to Ollie Burke, ball inside, sumptuous football, oh what a chance! It's spurned by Baldock, it was on his weaker left foot. It was brilliant football from the Blades, who ripped West Brom wide open. Baldock bore down on goal, and he's put it over the bar.
I cannot believe it. It's a fantastic ball through, and the ball back from Burke, and I'm just expecting the net to bulge, and it's just a pass, that's all it is. It's a pass in the back of the net, and I don't know whether he just tried to be too cute with it and put it in the top corner, but that just needs passing in the back of the net, and it's 1-1.
It's a glorious move, 4 players all involved, and Ollie Burke's kind of overlapping pass, which took 2 West Brom defenders out of the game, was wonderful. And I think Ajay was the only man who could possibly half get back and put his man under the teeniest bit of pressure, but I'm afraid even if you are a right footer and you are nominally a defender, there's no real excuse for that miss, is there?
Yeah, as I say, technically that is just a pass in the back of the net, and those are the margins that potentially keep the team in the Premier League.
Another of those moments we could be looking back at, those sliding door moments in a season. Replacements, by the way, happening now. John Lundstrom coming on for Sheffield United, the man who is out of contract and with that slight unease about his future has lost his place in the team. He's trusted to go on and hopefully change it. And coming off from Sheffield United's point of view is Keane Bryant, who's done okay on his first Premier League appearance at the back for the Blades. Conor Gallagher, meanwhile, picks up another loose ball on the edge of the D, as he's done so many times during this game, but he's physically hustled out of that one. And at the other end, has Carl Bartley brought down his man? The answer is no. Now Ollie Burke is convinced that Bartley shoved him in the back. The referee was relatively well placed in Mike Dean and was having none of it, and Ollie Burke, don't forget, up against his old team, just hammered the ground there in frustration as he was pushed over. He was convinced he should have had a free kick. He didn't get it. West Brom pick it up at the other end instead, courtesy of Romain Sawyers. Long overhit ball is a poor one this time, out of play for a goal kick. West Brom substitution, by the way, is pending. It's going to be Robinson to come off and Hal Robson-Kanu, the Welsh international, to come on. Has scored 3 goals in all competitions this season. Not exactly prolific in the Premier League, but Robson-Kanu is going to get a bit of a run out.
Yeah, and as you say, not overly prolific in the Premier League as it stands at the moment, but when you're on a good run of form and you're scoring goals, it doesn't matter who it's against. I think you feel good in yourself, and well, that's a personal thing for me, and I think strikers do feel that. So we'll be happy at the fact he's scoring goals in general, and he'll try and bring it into the game now.
Sani Saeed says it's wonderful commentary and great to have a lady as a co-commentator for the first time on the station. That's Saeed from Lagos in Nigeria. We appreciate your feedback and thank you very much. And Adedeo agrees as well. I seriously love the idea of a female voice on our commentary tonight. Listening from his room in Nigeria, saying both clubs so desperately need the 3 points. I still think this one will end up in a draw. So guys, thank you for your feedback. Keep it coming. That's TalkSport Live. We love to hear from you. 65 gone. Still, West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0, and still, Sheffield have only scored 4 goals in the best part of 10 games now in the Premier League. West Brom, by the way, as well as their own goal-scoring woes, shipped 18 as well, which was the most in the league. So problems at both ends for Slaven Bilic. Started the season with a few high-scoring games, and then it's been a run largely of low-scoring draws and defeats of late. But a low-scoring win, the first of the campaign, would be more than welcome. Berge on the far side. And Max Lowe is screaming directions at Berge and telling him what to do, because, Courtney, the options are limited again. It's all gone a bit static and a bit sedentary.
Yeah, they've had a decent, I'd say, 5 or so minutes, and I think sometimes you know teams do get a bit disheartened when you have that 5 minutes and you don't score. We see that that big miss, and it plays with your confidence.
Nice fizzing delivery there. And Ollie Burke was the man who threw his body at it. It was the cross from the new man Lundstrom making an immediate impact. The number 7 wrapped his right foot around it over the head of Ivanovic. McBurney acting as the foil, and Ollie Burke threw everything but the kitchen sink at it and was close to making contact.
Yeah, really close. It's a really nice ball as well. Early ball, deep, and misses out the defenders. And yeah, as you say, he's stretching every sinew to get at that, but just can't get a contact on it.
Andy Gray's header to win the FA Cup final for Everton was 84 or 85, where he basically heads it on the floor. Had Burke scored, it would have basically been like that, wouldn't it? He could have kicked it, but why not when he could head it half an inch off the ground?
Look, as long as it goes in, any striker will tell you it does not matter what part of your body it comes off, as long as it's in the back of the net.
Not to be on that occasion, though. I've been impressed with Ollie Burke, and I hope he stays in the team for a while now. I think he deserves that chance. 3 years, of course, at Sheffield before that move. 68 gone. Free kick on the far side for Sheffield United. Fleck takes it. Berge was again up there. Couldn't quite get there though. Ivanovic doing well at the back and just doing enough. The former Chelsea man. Lowe this time scurrying back, wearing 13, the left wing back. Plays the ball back to his goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale. Akpan Ubong Monday says, I don't see Sheffield United staying up with the way they play. I'm afraid they look like a championship team to me. And Akpan, you're probably right, and it just makes the achievements of last season, where they did so brilliantly until the final few weeks, and still had a campaign that was way above anybody's expectation. I think the fact that the squad does look a little bit on paper championship-like says it all about how well they did, but also about how hard it's going to be now with that playing staff to drag themselves out of trouble. Now, player down and in some form of pain is Connor Townsend, who is down and shrieking in pain. Play goes on as Brewster's header comes off a West Brom shirt and goes behind for a corner. Townsend is in serious pain here, holding his left knee. As we have a look at the replay, he stuck his foot out and he's basically collided with Baldock, who's on a yellow card, but I don't think there was too much untoward there.
I don't think it was Baldock.
He's jarred his knee, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think just looking at it, he goes in with a straight leg and it potentially hyperextends it a bit, and yeah, nothing there for Baldock, but he's up now, Townsend. But as you say, that scream, I think you do worry when you hear that sort of scream that it might be something really bad and untoward, but nice to see him on his feet.
Yeah, he is hobbling back, Townsend, to take his place on the goal line. So I think West Brom down to 10.5 men at the moment, because he's not fully there, but he's going to try and do what he can. And Lundstrom, by the way, having come on, is now taking corner kick duties over for Sheffield United as well. His first delivery nodded behind by the Baggies for a second chance. In swinging effort, good one, headed behind again by West Brom. Safety first. Pereira, I think it was, back helping out his defenders that time. And after all of West Brom's countless corners earlier, Sheffield United's turned to rack up a few now.
Yeah, and get a few in the box and hopefully cause some carnage. I think, at this point, maybe get a few men round Johnston and try and make it really difficult for him.
Another delivery, pressure on Johnston, who did well. Ollie Burke was up there against the keeper. Burke's holding the back of his head. I think Buildup might have been up there as well, and Johnston is also down. 3 players effectively all colliding with each other as we look at the replay. Actually, it was Egan, beg your pardon, rather than Bulldog, and in the end, it's he and Johnson who clash heads, and of the two, I think the keeper may have come off worse.
Yeah, I think it just potentially caught him above his eye, sort of on your eyebrow, where normally if you get, you know, a bit of a knock there, sometimes it's quite a weak part of your face, and got a couple of war wounds to show for instances like that, but hopefully it's not too bad and he can get up and he's not drawn blood.
Well, he's receiving treatment at the moment, Sam Johnston. One of the Baggies medical staff is on there just checking his neck and just checking for any concussion probably, and anything that might be an issue in terms of continuing. The sub-keeper, by the way, for West Brom is David Button, formerly of the likes of Fulham back in the day, and Brighton. He's largely been a career number 2. Came through, I think if memory serves, at Spurs as a youngster. Big screen just flicks to him. We'll see whether or not he might need to be employed. I wouldn't be 100% surprised if he is, you know.
No, he does look in some bother there, Johnston, but I think they, you know, everything now with the concussion protocols and the medical staff, they do take it very seriously, so they won't rush. They'll make sure that they're giving him a thorough check before, you know, they allow him to play on, if that's the case.
Rydor has tweeted in saying Sheffield United yet to win a game this season proves that the world of football can be so cruel. Great commentary from the female commentator. That's from Lagos in Nigeria. Mark Yu as well says regards to our new addition to the commentary team as well. It's 10:30 p.m. in Nigeria as I listen to you guys while I lie in bed. Very nice. Quite a few people just relaxing around the world and taking us in whatever time it is. We love to bring you this league, and it really is a genuine privilege. I always say this, to bring the global entity that is the Premier League to our listeners worldwide. 72 gone, West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0, thanks to that early strike from Conor Gallagher, the Chelsea loanee. Johnston still rubbing his head, is at least up after his treatment, and I think, as you called, I think he's going to be okay, Courtney.
Yeah, good to see him up on his feet. As I say, the medical staff take all the, you know, head injury protocols very, very seriously, so they'll just want to make sure that he's 100% fit to carry on.
I think we might be about to see, was that Lys Mousset? I could see around 1 or 2 other bodies there in his purple bib.
Yeah, not surprised now. He's probably still got enough time to make an impact in this last 15 minutes or so. As we say, we know his quality in front of goal and what he can bring, but obviously he's getting back to fitness, so probably couldn't get him on any earlier, a fear of, you know, a re-injury, and that's the last thing that Chris Wilder will want, to maybe put him on with, you know, 30 odd minutes to go and him have to pull up and come off again.
Yeah, the Frenchman who scored some crucial goals for Bournemouth and then has also done the same, popping up at some very opportune moments for Sheffield United as well. Tends to score his goals sometimes in little gluts, and often is a man for the big occasion. Foot surgery in between the 2 seasons, so as a result he's missed everything in the delayed return, and West Brom player down, and that is a very nasty gash. I think, is that Connor Townsend once more?
Yeah, I think it is, and that, as you say, that doesn't look fantastic whatsoever.
He's got a beer cut on his knee.
Yeah. Especially, you know, as you say, it's a foggy night, it's probably quite wet there, so I imagine most of the players have got the mixed studs on with the metal studs, so if he's been caught with one of them, hardly surprised that he's got a gash like that.
A couple of other subs, so Lys Mousset does come on for Ollie Burke, who I think has done well. High five from the 2 and an embrace, which was good to see. There's a pending substitution beneath us, which is Kravinovic to come on for Grant, but I just wonder if they're going to delay this now, West Brom, to see how Townsend is, because the last thing you want to do is perhaps expel your subs when another player who wasn't going to be subbed gets hurt.
Yeah, definitely. It just changes the dynamic of the game, so I think they'll probably just wait to make sure he's fit and ready to carry on before they do make the sub.
And Matt Phillips is also going to come on. I think those 2 substitutions are going to happen. Yeah, Filip Kravinovic, the midfielder who's on loan from Benfica, will be coming onto the field. One of the players to go off is Matthias Pereira. The other is Carlin Grant. So Kravinovic and Matt Phillips, the Scotland international, another former QPR man in the West Brom ranks. They're the players on. And as I say, this is Burke going off the field. And Townsend is the other to come off, and I think that does make sense actually. He's taken a nasty gash there, and that's on the back of the knee knock, of course, with the collision with Lowe a few minutes ago as well. Why risk it?
Yeah, there's no need to risk it. Obviously, I know the managers have talked about these 5 subs that, you know, a lot of them want. So with only 3 subs, I don't think you can risk keeping him on the pitch and going down to 10 men, especially with how important this game is for both clubs. The last thing they want to do is play out the last, 10 or so minutes with 10 men.
Should say with Baldock a little earlier rather than Lowe, the other wing back. He's in possession now on the near stand side, but is dispossessed. And West Brom still a goal to the good. Look to counter attack, crunching challenge there. Well timed one in the end from Egan. The player who he tackled is still down and in some pain on the far side. Struggling to get to their feet now as well. Crikey, this has been attritional. It's Pereira who was going to come off, but then I think the decision was to take Townsend off instead after the injury. Pereira surging forward, and robust challenge from Egan this time, and he's gone flying over the top.
It's not fantastic. I don't think it's a foul or a yellow card, but I think it's the way that Pereira's fell. As you say, definitely a very robust challenge.
It's been a tough old night, hasn't it? We talked about this being a kind of old school Premier League game.
Yeah, and it's definitely lived up to that expectation in that sense. It's, as you say, maybe a bit of a throwback game that we don't see so much now in the Premier League.
But all the better for it. What's the most physical game you think you've ever played in so far?
Ooh, now you're testing my memory. I would say...
You're only 30, mate, come on.
Don't remind me. I would say Durham.
Okay.
Notoriously a very, very physical team. Currently top of our league. But yeah, always been notoriously... robust, let's say.
Have you got to play them again this season? Have you got a top of the table clash to come, or have you already had that?
We've had one.
Okay.
We've got to go and play them at their place, so I'll make sure I've definitely got my shin pads on for that one.
Good work. 29 shots in this game so far, by the way. 15 to West Brom and 14 to Sheffield United. They've not necessarily all been great, and only one clearly has gone in. But we've certainly had our moments in this one, and you can really sense, despite the gloom, despite, of course, again, this match being behind closed doors, you can just really sense the importance of it for any team that can maybe get a win, break that duck for the campaign, and start slowly climbing the Premier League table.
Yeah.
Of course, we will be seeing crowds, depending what tier you're in here of your COVID restrictions, back 4,000 for the lowest tier, of which admittedly not many teams are in that, 2,000 for those in the middle, none yet for those in the highest, but it will be great to see some teams having fans to play in front of in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it will be fantastic when it comes, unfortunately. Sheffield United in Tier 3.
Lundstrom's delivery.
Yeah,
Fist clear from Johnson.
They won't be seeing fans anytime soon, unfortunately. And I think that's what United have really missed, having that fans in at Bramall Lane and really pushing them when they need it. They have really missed their fans.
We shall see whether or not the Midlands, who've also got a fair amount of Tier 3, will get a few fans into their clubs. Certainly the North, East, West, Yorkshire, Midlands have come out fairly badly when it comes to Tier 3 in the COVID rate. As a result, it will still probably be a while till we see too many of those games with fans, but some of those teams down in the South East and other parts of the south of England, they will be getting those crowds back in some capacity.
Yeah, and I think it will be interesting, with 2,000, 4,000 fans in these big stadiums, what difference, that will make. It will definitely be a different atmosphere, but again, I think, everyone's just got to welcome having any fans back. It's a fantastic opportunity to get fans back in, and hopefully going forward we can build on the numbers.
Sheffield United do have a free kick. Burge dummies it. It's taken by Lundstrom as far as Burge. Wicked cross shot. McBurney stuck out of foot. The ball ricochets wide and behind for another corner. Just another example, as Courtney said earlier, when your luck is out, the ball does not fall for you. Really well worked. Burge on the overlap to McBurney. It ricochets off defender and keeper and behind for a corner. We'll stay with that corner. Swung in left-footed, headed half clear. Matt Phillips is back, the new man who's onto the field, helping out and trying to work it clear. Again, your luck really is not in if you're a Sheffield United player at the moment, is it?
I think, it was very well worked, one straight from the training ground, and Basham on the edge of the West Brom wall, just blocking people off again, those little bit of dark arts, but did really well. And again, when you looks out,
Sheffield United, the third team in Premier League history to only have 1 point or less after 9 games. Man City did it in 95-6. Sheffield Wednesday did it in 99-2000. They would only be the third club in the entire of top flight history, so that's the Premier League and the old Division 1 to have no or 1 points from 10 games, if it happens. Happened to Man U in 1930-31, to West Brom, funnily enough, in 85-86. And Sheffield United again look for that equaliser. McBurney with the shot from 15 yards out. Low shot, just a bit too close to Johnson, who makes the save with his right glove. Fists it away, and West Brom work it clear. It opened up for a second for McBurney, but again a striker who is just luck is out, and he's really lacking that potency, isn't he?
Yeah, and I just don't feel like he hit it with enough conviction.
Yeah.
I think he wanted just to get it on target.
Overlap again. Sheffield United are, to their credit, coming forward in droves here as Buildup works it forward, looking for Ryan Brewster, who's another perfect example too, like McBurney, of a striker who's almost operating on fumes and vapours, and has such a lack of confidence at the moment. Again, another chance that wasn't taken, but that McBurney one in particular really was a very, very good opportunity.
Yeah, you know what, it's like the opposite way around. Was it the Egan chance earlier where, he just needed to pass that and he put a bit more power in it, whereas I think...
It was Bulldog, wasn't it? Let's not give poor old Egan a bad rep he doesn't deserve.
Yeah, sorry, my fault there, but yeah, so where...
He'll find you on the training ground after COVID.
I know, yeah. I'll have something in my little pigeonhole. But yeah, there where McBurney, probably it needs a bit more power on it. And as I say, I think he's probably more concerned about getting it on target rather than actually scoring. And that probably sounds a bit of a contradiction. But yeah, it was just tame, I would say.
3 is the most points after 10 games that any team has had and stayed up in Premier League history. As things stand, West Brom would go from 3 onto 6, and Sheffield United would stay on 1. And as the clock ticks down, Chris Wilder's men could set a rather dubious Premier League record as well, of 14 games without a win. And the last win was all the way back on July the 11th. They've also lost 6 straight away from home, and they're still the only team not to keep a Premier League clean sheet this season as well. And that was after having the 4th best record of any team clean sheet wise, with 13 last season. And we talked a lot about the goals they can't score, but that shift has been as important and as seismic for me.
Yeah, definitely. I think you look at the sort of the run that West Brom have had, and they've kept a couple of more clean sheets, so they've managed to, to pick up a couple of more points. Whereas, if you don't keep a clean sheet and as well as not scoring, it's just obviously a very, very bad combination. At least if you're keeping a clean sheet for large parts of the game, that you think you're going to nick a goal at the end of the game and nick 3 points, whereas they're not giving themselves that chance.
Back on the attack here, Sheffield United low infield as far as the new man Lundstrom, who really has seen a lot of the ball and just seems, despite being out of contract at the end of the season, keen to prove a point, whether it's to help this cause or whether it's to get himself into the shop window for a move in January, where of course he'd still be worth at least some money, even if it's a knockdown fee to another club. I've got to say, if I was another Premier League club, mid-table or beneath, I'd think about having a pop on him. Nice delivery from the far side, again lacks a little bit of conviction. He picks it back up after good work from Fleck, but remains Sawyers this time with some positive work without the ball. Sheffield United with 71% possession themselves in the last 10 minutes, and that, Courtney, is completely flipped from this point in the other half, when it was exactly the other way round.
Yeah, and it just shows they are pushing. They've had to, obviously, a couple of good chances that they've not converted, but this last 5 or so minutes and the injury time, they need to keep pushing to try and get the equaliser. But a lot better in terms of keeping possession. They're playing through the thirds now and putting a good string of passes together rather than just lumping it up and being a bit of a route one.
West Brom on the back foot a little bit at the moment. Good interception there though from Ajayi, as Sheffield United just slightly overplay that one. Maybe a little bit of nervousness and just over eagerness setting in. Here come the Baggies on the counter-attack. Oh, curling effort and a good save low to his right. It was the new man Kravinovic who threaded it through to Hal Robson-Kanu. Two subs combining nicely. And the Welsh international with a curling effort, left-footed, good turn and good save from Ramsdale.
Yeah, it was a really nice turn, quick turn, and just hardly any backlift on the shot. But Ramsdale does really well to see that and parry it out for the corner.
Just the right height for a keeper, wasn't it? Any lower or higher and it might have gone in.
Yeah, luckily I think it just took a bit of a bounce for him, so it was a nice height. But yeah, as I say, he did well to parry it round the goal. But I think if it's higher, that's definitely causing a problem towards the top corner.
I think Pereira's just been booked for time wasting. As he went to take the corner, he kicked the ball away and went to get another one, even though I don't think there was anything wrong with the first one. And Michael Dean was all over that and immediately is booked, the Brazilian, who's still taking an eternity to take this. He's got to be careful. Eventually puts it in, and it was a fairly ropey corner as well, which Bernie heads clear. Definitely not worth the wait, but I guess the home team ahead, it eats up another 30-40 seconds.
Yeah, definitely, and you've not got fans in the stadium that sometimes keep the ball when you kick it out when you're at home.
So kick it away yourself.
Yeah, and you normally probably brief the ball boys and girls as well, within the dying minutes if you're winning, not to give the ball back.
Do you remember when Eden Hazard effectively attacked the ball boy to get the ball back? I'll never forget that. A bizarre moment 3 or 4 seasons ago. Kravinovic, the new man, was he fouled? I think he was, but again, referee D plays advantage. Here's Matty Phillips, the Scotland international. Finds Pereira, back to Phillips, lovely exchange of passes. Pereira again, running up against Egan. Number 12 on number 12, and Egan there just did enough, didn't he? The skipper stood his ground and just guided it behind very nicely for a goal kick.
Pereira was maybe trying to be slightly too clever there, maybe trying to keep the ball and draw a foul, whereas if it had squared it across the box, it was a tap-in.
But Bernie wins the header in the air, but there's no one there to try and get the secondary ball. He's frustrated. Nothing going. I haven't seen a lot of Lys Mousset as yet, and it was Mousset who probably was the man who had the best chance of getting there. Failed to do so, and we've got Brewster, Mousset and McBurney all on the field at the moment, but I don't know whether perhaps all three of them on together is necessarily the best way to get a goal.
Yeah, so Brewster's obviously new into the side as well, so again he's not had that time to play with Mousset and create that relationship either.
Jurgen Klopp was keen to keep him at Liverpool, hence the buyback clause, but we've not seen a huge amount yet as West Brom go for a second. Header from the far side, just over the bar. It was the right wing back Darnell Furlong who came surging in. Once again, it was Kravinovic who fed Pereira. And Furlong up against his man. Header just over the bar. Really good chance for a second late on.
Yeah, that surging run came out of absolutely nowhere, and the desire to get to the ball is definitely what Slavan Bilic will want to see from him.
It was Fleck who stood his ground and did just about enough to put his man off and prevent Sheffield United going what I think now would be a terminal 2-0 down. Just over 2 minutes plus time added on to go here on Premier League Live. It remains West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0 in this battle at the foot of the table. It's been a long old road for West Brom so far this season. And they're on the back foot again now. Here's Sander Berge. Lovely run. As Forrest Lundstrom takes a deflection. Oh, it's miskicked. Basham was waiting to pounce on the edge of the 6-yard box. It fell to him. He wasn't expecting it. The centre half miskicks the ball and it floods wide. That's another golden chance for Sheffield United spurned.
They've done absolutely everything but score. And no disrespect there to Basham, but you don't want that fall into your centre half. He would have been offside by the look of it anyway.
Yeah, because it hit Mousset's bomb, didn't it?
Yeah, but when Berge comes in as well, before that I'm just thinking, come in and hit it. And I know he lays it off to Lundstrom, and it is a good strike, but when he's drawed about 3 players with him, I'm just thinking, shoot. At the end of the day, they're 1-0 down. There's a couple of minutes to go, but yeah, it's everything but had the ball in the back of the net.
Clearly speaking about you and not me, Digit Sketch says fluid, fluent and beautiful commentary.
Well, there you go. I think we'll both take that, won't we?
Maestro Clark Abidi enjoying the commentary from Port Harcourt in Nigeria. I really want West Brom to keep winning this match and keep a clean sheet, because I've got Sam Johnston as my fantasy football goalkeeper. Do you know what? It's not a bad shout, that, because he's a good keeper, and even if they don't win, they don't often concede in recent weeks many goals, and he's one of the cheaper keepers in the leagues as well. It's not a bad shout,
No, No, it's not a bad shout, and like I said earlier, I know we were talking about Blades, but it's the same principle. If you can keep yourself in the game for as long as possible and not concede, then that's half the battle.
Johnson, of course, would have got extra points for Maestro last week for a penalty save, but of course he encroached and come forward, and Fernandez got the chance to retake and scored second time around, much to Slaven Bilic's annoyance. But he will get, as things stand, the clean sheet tonight with a minute to go plus time added on. In fact, we tick into the 90 now as we await the fourth officials board to see how much time there will be added on. And West Brom have got the ball just where they want it, which is deep in Sheffield United territory. We've had a couple of injuries, as we well know, and there's going to be 7 additional minutes, 7 minutes for Wilder's men to get something.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting 7, and I think you're going into the last 5 minutes of a game expecting maybe 1 or 2 minutes, so still a lot of time for Blades to equalise, so they'll be happy with 7 minutes, and I think Slaven Bilic and West Brom will be looking at that, obviously not so happy to hang on for another 7 minutes.
I think you're earning your money on your debut, I think, Courtney, aren't you? Eke a few more minutes out of you, my friend. It's been great work. Great to have you as part of our commentary team. Here come Sheffield United once more through Baldock in field to Burge, who, like 2 or 3 players in this game, has really grown in influence and stature as it's progressed. Lundstrom to Fleck, who's been, as ever, the Scot, a constant buzzing threat throughout. Everything is necessarily worked out, but never gives up, never stops running, and never hides. And I think you can say that about a lot of Chris Wilder's players.
Yeah, and I think that sort of he makes the team in his image, and I think he's very much like that. When you see him after in interviews, he doesn't make any excuses. He comes out and very much tells it how it is, a proper northern man, as I would say, not backwards in coming forward.
I'm married to one, so being from the Midlands, I'm somewhere in the middle, but yeah. My wife is like that.
Definitely not backwards in coming forwards, and that's how he moulds his team. So again, I think it's a shame for them, because it's not for want of trying. You can tell they're not down in tools, they're just not getting that look of the draw at the moment.
So next up for West Brom is Crystal Palace at home next Sunday, then a trip to Newcastle. Rest of their December fixtures: Man City, Aston Villa, Liverpool and Leeds. So couple coming up where they need to continue to build on this momentum, you would feel, if they can see it through, Bilic's boys. 2 of the additional 7 minutes have gone as Sheffield United do slowly work the ball forward once more. Lundstrom again in the centre of midfield, out as far as George Baldock. Now to Burge, but he's been pushed back. Can he do one of his trademark surging runs? Slightly lucky ricochet, but Hal Robson-Kanu then wins the ball back and does brilliantly, the striker, off the bench and doing some fine work. He's then dispossessed. Good sliding tackle from Rian Brewster, another forward among the subs who comes on and does a good bit of defensive work, helping out his teammates. Means that Sheffield United now have it back. Ball a bit scrappy, but the intensity, the pressure of the final few minutes of this critical game at the foot of the table, it's so palpable. You can really feel it, and even the fog's coming back again a bit as well to add a bit more drama.
To add a bit of mood.
I was going to say, it was far too clear for a while. We could see far too easily. 4 minutes to go of time added on. Still West Brom 1, Sheffield United 0. Crikey, the Blades need something. Basham, good interception downfield, but cut out by the goal scorer, Conor Gallagher. Of course, won the penalty last week as well, that was spurned in the end by West Brom. It was awarded and then unawarded by VAR. That didn't go down too well either. Slaven Bilic, he's had a few things to moan about in recent times. But a win here could change a huge amount of that, and as we talked about before, take West Brom, temporarily at least, out of the bottom 3. Here's Fleck for Sheffield United. They're coming forward, but again, there just doesn't seem to be a huge amount of mutual understanding, and there's been so many different players and so many changes. I just don't know how much cohesion they've got left. It might have to be a direct approach from Brewster. It's on target. It's parried by Johnston. Only as far as Baldock, who lobs it in and was caught in 2 minds in the end. And I'm afraid George Baldock's chip was a bit of a horror show, but Brewster still looking for that first goal of the season. Let rip. It was on target. Johnston just about did enough.
Yeah, he did really well there, Bruce. I've been impressed with him since he's come on. I think he's done really well. He's been bright. Again, I just think, as you say, the relationships between everyone, there's not anyone really following it in well enough there for me. If you do it, it's a tap-in. But as you say, I think United was so fluid last season. with the formation that they played, everyone was everywhere at times. Everyone just filled a space. There was no real positions, if that makes sense. Everyone just filled their nearest space. Whereas this, as it seems quite static, and the relationships just aren't there the way that they were last season.
Sheffield United again coming forward with 2 and a bit minutes of the 7 to go. Next up for them, Leicester at home, then a trip to informed Southampton, then Man United. None of those easy. Then Brighton away, Everton at home, and what could be a huge game to end the year. Their 6th game of December is at fellow strugglers Burnley. Here they come looking for the equaliser. Oh, it's cannoning left, right and centre. It hits Ivanovic, it falls back. Brewster was up there, Musset was up there, and somehow the Frenchman sticks it over the bar. Pinball in the baggies box, and again Sheffield United huff and puff and are somehow denied an equaliser.
I just don't know how the ball hasn't gone in the back of the net today for Blades. It's a lovely run by Buildup, jinking there, and he managed to get the ball in the box. The initial shot from Brewster against Ivanovic, and then Musset, it's just, he just can't get a good enough connection on it, and oh god, that could have been 1-1. It could have been such a massive point for Blades.
Wow. To be fair, Brewster didn't do a huge amount wrong in that he got his shot in, and it did touch the hand of Ivanovic, but it was very much within his natural silhouette. It was close range, and he's had his hands tucked into his body, would have hit his midriff if not, so quite rightly no appeals for handball. It was that key moment there when it hits Ivanovic and falls to Musset. If this guy had been fit and playing for a few weeks and was match sharp, would he have taken that?
You'd probably like to think so, although probably the ball's come at him that fast and surprised him that he's probably just tried to get anything on it, but you would imagine match fitness does play a part in that moment.
Fleck flicks one in, another header from distance. McBurney was up there, Egan was behind him, his captain, and Egan just pats McBurney on the shoulder. Had a go, the big Scot. £60 million signing a couple of seasons ago from Swansea. Craned his neck, the number 9, but that one fizzed a good 2 or 3 yards wide of Sam Johnston's left hand upright. With a few seconds to go, Chris Wilder, I think, has it etched on his face. We are looking at a 9th defeat in 10 and 1 point from a possible 30 to start Sheffield United's season, and that's on the back, of course, of 4 defeats to end their last campaign as well.
Yeah, and you can't say they've not thrown everything at it, but it's just not come off for them somehow today. They've been so unlucky at times, but West Brom have been fantastic defending.
West Bromwich Albion get their first win since their return to the top tier.